Dave. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? The official debut of Brags in the Stands. Surprise! We said 7 o'clock, but here we are, 6:40 Central. We bringing you in what we call the pre-show flow. We want you to hang out with us. In weeks going forward, you're going to be with us. Sometimes if we're just getting the show ready or whatever, and letting the chat build up, and letting us be able to circulate the show and have some fun and, say hi to everyone getting into the chat. That's kind of the main thing, is really trying to interact with the chat as best we can. Cause we love all our, listeners and people that, show the loyalty and, like the people that entered in the contest. We appreciate all that interaction with the show. That's Absolutely. What it's all about, is keeping the fans involved. We're going to have, live callers and all sorts of stuff going forward. But for tonight, this is an introductory phase. And, what better to introduce you than to give you an idea of what you'll see on Brags in the Stands. So that's basically, you get the bird's eye view. I call it the tunnel of love when you go to Soldier Field, and nothing I love doing more. Everybody's tailgating, so it's kind of like the fun little secret. If you go in early, you get to kind of see that kind of stuff that, for years, Jake and I would go to tailgates and we'd wait till the bitter last moment to get in the stadium because, you're having your Jack and Cokes, you're throwing bags, you want to have fun, but there's so much more if you go in early. I'm telling you, you don't have to do it all the time, but I'm telling you, it's worth at least a few times. And last year when they were doing the bobblehead giveaway, I think some fans figured that out. But that's what we're all about here at Brags and Stands. I love going to the games, as does Jake. He lives down in Austin, Texas. Obviously we've done 4 test runs. So here's our introduction. Of course, I'm Greg Braggs, but my co-host is Jay Kovanik, one of my great friends. Stood up my wedding, a brother to me, truly. We went to elementary school together, and we've been getting in trouble ever since. And here we are starting up some fun stuff here at Brags in the Stands. That's what we want to give you, is that bird's eye view, to what it's like to be at the game and enjoy it in that way. Everybody's going to have to watch TV this year, and we're going to cover the games, as well as we can, but we cannot wait to get back in the games. You saw the Chiefs fans, 15 to 20,000 fans were in the stadiums last night. Bears fans are hoping to do the same. So, and it's to live the great moments such as these.
Give it to me. You got him. You got him. Let's fucking. Trubisky's pass to Allen Robinson. 22 yards. And the Bears touchdown.
I love hearing you scream there. I thought it was a child at one point, but I
always try to hold my composure as I'm sending out these to all the Bears groups on my Facebooks. I always try to hold my composure now. Back in the day I couldn't do it, but now that I like to capture the moment, and I do the way I do, I try to hold my composure, but right there, that was one of the biggest throws in Mitchell Trubisky's career in the fourth
that was a huge moment in that game
of the NFC playoffs against the Eagles here 2 years ago. Nick Foles versus Mitchell Trubisky, and it was a tough ending, but what a moment there for Mitch. And we're trying to get back to that moment. That's where he needs to get back and prove to people that he is capable of making those kind of plays in those big time moments. And of course, we love to live the great moments, but as a fan, you're always going to live, the heartbreak such as this. And, this was a game Jake and I were both at together. Said, what, you hear me going crazy. When I was going crazy, I was choking Jake at that moment. And then at the very end, we were holding on for dear life next to each other for, of course, the infamous. Wait, that's the.
Good. Yes, good.
Yeah, that's me losing my cool.
As you heard in the first clip, You hear me going nuts, and then in the second clip, we hear our co-host Jake. If I don't know if you heard it.
I don't know if I've made that sort of primal scream since.
It's like
it was
back
very
and to
visceral.
the left.
Oh, he fucking missed!
Yeah, that was hot.
It
was a tough one.
That's the last time I've stepped foot in Soldier Field, and
I don't blame you.
I'd like to right the wrong at some point.
It really reminded me of like Ralph in The Simpsons in the moment where his heart breaks. You could literally see it for Jake. It was literally
actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
Yeah, that's an accurate depiction. That was a rough moment. That was
literally
getting out early. That was buying a plane ticket. That was flying home. That was the ticket price. That was everything that we did, the whole trip, just for it to blow up. And you were recording that moment because you wanted to have that on tape for when he made the kick. I remember you saying that. And
oh my gosh. And because if they make it, the crowd goes wild. They win in, right at the end of regulation, right as the buzzer sounds. When I go to a Cubs game, I literally root, because I go so much. And, some fans don't go to, and I know how lucky I am for how many games I get to go to. But when I go now, I'm so spoiled with this. When I go to a Cubs game, I'm rooting for the walk-off home run. Literally, I want the walk-off. So, however it has to happen, because I love being at the games when they hit the walk-off home run. And with football, you don't get too many walk-off home runs. And when that clock hits zero, when the kick goes through the uprights, there's no better feeling if you're at a game like that. It's just the energy is incredible. And of course, I had my phone out. You're always thinking about jinxes. And the kick prior to when they called the timeout, he made it, but he didn't really make it all that great. And you kind of had a tough feeling. Both of us kind of looked at each other in that moment, and neither of us had very much confidence he was going to make it. And the whole stadium kind of had that energy. And I really do feel like that kind of stuff plays into it sometimes. You need good vibes, and if you let those kind of negative vibes get in your head, it's contagious. Positivity and negativity are contagious, and a football team can grab onto that. You saw that last year with the 2019 Bears. It's like Murphy's Law. One thing goes wrong, then 100 things go wrong. Well, when you start doing things right, then other people start doing things right. Football is about momentum, and you hope the Bears this season can get some momentum early on and try to get on the tracks they were in 2018. I'm really excited about it. We actually, before we get rolling, we have about 5 minutes before we officially kick off. How about we play the clip today? I got to call into ESPN 1000. We're having Tom Waddle on today, and I was calling into ESPN 1000 to give him my Bears thoughts on a football Friday, and we had a really, really, really great call, and I wanted to share it with you guys today because this is another part of what the show is going to be about. Of course, I call into ESPN 1000 all the time, so when we have good calls, I want to share them with our live listening audience, so why don't we listen to that?
Oh, the Waddle call?
Yeah, I would say so.
They never put that up. They never put the 4 o'clock up.
Well, how about we take a look-see? I'm sure it's up by now. If it's not, no big deal. Like I said, we got about 5 minutes before the show.
I'm staring at it now. It's not up on the
okay, well, no big
page.
deal. I thought maybe it'd been up by now. The ESPN app, they download all their segments 1 hour at a time, and sometimes it takes a little bit for things to get in. So maybe next time, and that's what I mean for this show.
I wanted to get it in, but yeah, it never came up.
Oh, and you know what? That's okay. And that's why we're on the fly. This is the pre-show flow. You get to be involved with us in the chat. If Jake wants to share some comments of some of the people that are in there now, now that I'm kind of trying to direct traffic in here. There's of course my mom, Barbara Graham. The general, as they call her in the region. We call her the general because she's my mama, but she's got the iron fist too. She had to run all of us, little kids around and chase us around, me, you, and Jake, me and you, Jake, and all our friends too. So, it was a lot of fun growing up, but mom had to really keep up with us.
Yeah, of course.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, and I can see there's already the chat's building up, and we really appreciate that because we wanted you guys to come in because we got a Flames intro video that we're getting ready to launch here as soon as 7 o'clock rips off, and I cannot wait to share it with all of you. As I said, I'm just kind of at the point where I'm sharing this along on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. And everybody that's in the chat, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we really appreciate that. And
a couple of people are having a little bit of stream issues, it looks like, through YouTube. So hopefully that's not the case. You're hardwired, right?
Yeah, I'm hardwired today. Yesterday we were running with a little lag. So
maybe it's YouTube, yeah.
Hopefully. It could be. And, that's kind of the gig when you're on, when you're doing streams like this, you gotta
roll
do
with
what you gotta do. You gotta roll with the punches. So, but again, we appreciate everybody joining us for this official debut of Brags in the Stands. Really excited. We put a lot of hard work into this. Jake's been, really gearing down here, especially as of late and over the last month. It's been a journey. And we're excited to bring you this because we, like I said, have put a lot of hard work into it. And we're already, I know, for speaking for myself, very proud of what we're doing here. And, the Tariq Cohen dance-off was just an amazing thing that kind of came together at the last minute. And what a great show yesterday. I really enjoyed that. Being able to go on my TV and pull up YouTube and watch the show on TV. It was pretty surreal to see that. So pretty cool. And excited to do this week in and week out and bring you, some fun coverage and Greg's point of view, Brags' point of view in the stands and all fans. It's not just Brags, but, this is Brags and Company. We're going to have all the friends of, people in the media, but, just friends in general and people on podcasts and everything in between.
Why don't you break down what everyone's going to hear today? What we got lined up?
Before we get going, 2 minutes to go before we hit the intro. Of course, at 7:30, we are bringing on Tommy Waddle, and we cannot wait to talk some Bears football with him. And we have a Lions guest coming on to give us a Lions fan's point of view that has some personal ties to me, of course. And then we have some gambling segments for you that are going to be weekly gambling segments, and we have a great guy that is going to be the host of that segment each week, and we cannot wait to introduce him to you. And then, of course, we have the Tariq Cohen giveaway that we're going to announce at some point during the show, so you're just going to have to stay tuned. And we are really excited to announce the lucky winner, and we appreciate everyone, joining in that. And we got a lot of other fun stuff, so we hope you stick with us. It's going to be a fun show tonight.
Absolutely.
And, it's Friday night, so we're here for you all night, baby. So keep that chat rolling, and everybody keep the comments flowing in, and we're gonna put them up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. Can't thank everybody enough for joining us. And
absolutely appreciate it.
It's going to be a good one. So we're 1 minute away, and I believe I've pretty much shared it across all mediums. I edited the post to make sure it says something. I know now that we did 4 test runs, I feel like we're ready for this.
We're almost there.
How about it? A successful pre-show flow. So when it hits 7:00, which it just has, this is the intro video that we worked so hard on, and my guy Nick Morgan really, really busted his butt. So I hope you enjoy it. Brags in the Stands coming at you right now. The Bears, they started this new tradition last year where they celebrate their wins the correct way.
Waddle and Sylvie, ESPN 1000, don't miss it.
like their own Philly.
Okay.
Okay, I think what it is.
We shouldn't be showing this. Am I crazy?
What a great sign that is. What have I told you? 17 minutes of rain would wash away 108 years of drought.
Do you see this team growing into the team that you were in 2005?
Good claps, everybody.
You are ridiculous.
How about it? How about it? Welcome.
That's an intro.
To Brags in the Stands, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you start a show, and I could not be more proud of that intro. Shout out to my guy Nick Morgan for
awesome
helping a collaboration of some amazing stuff. He's a magician when it comes to this stuff. I've been watching Nick Morgan for years. If you follow him on social media, you know, he's from the region. He went to Crown Point. Some of the highlights you saw in there were from, you know, high school days back at watching Crown Point High School, and my guy Andrew Kennelly and Sasha Stefanovic and Dom Tomic and all them guys, Ken Decker. It was such a fun journey, and Nick Morgan would make amazing videos of them back in the day. And I always said, you know, hey, one day we got to do something together. And what a first project for me and Nick, and we got some fun stuff planned down the way. So shout out to Nick Morgan. I couldn't shout you out more. We are going to always promote you and your work on this show. I'm proud of what we put together. So thank you, Nick. We're going to bring you on one of these days and introduce you to the crowd. So here we are, guys. Brags in the Stands. We have officially kicked off. We've had so many test runs, and the official debut is here. You know, we even, you know, all these graphics you see are from Jake on my right. You know, my guy, Jake Hovanek, all his work, you know, hard work. He's just such an amazing creative talent. Came up with the logo, took a few rough drafts to get through. Maybe one of these days we'll show you all the different rough drafts. We have some funny ones that he sent me. We'll get into those in future episodes, some fun stories of how we came together with some of this stuff. And we'll definitely bring you behind the curtain on that. But, you know, we got
Bears football this week.
It's Bears football, Jake. Exactly right. You know, this is kind of what this all came to pass with Brags in the Stands, was Bears football, going to training camp, putting video out there, and it all turned into this whirlwind of what you saw in that intro video, you know, just kind of getting in the mix and having fun and capturing the moment. And here we are, 2020 season, and now fans can't go to the games, but we're going to cover for the games for you anyway and have some fun. You know, we can't go, so we might as well all hang out here and talk some football. And that's exactly what we're going to do for this week's episode, because it's Football Friday, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and the Bears and the Lions are coming up on Sunday at noon, and a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, you know, especially coming off a 2019 season like it was. Very disappointing. Bears 100, all the hype, and they just didn't live up to it. So it's time for the Bears to put up or shut up. I've said it's no hype, just win for this team, and that's exactly that. We can't hype these guys up. They got to do it, and they know that, and that's why they've kind of been put into the grindstone. You've seen these guys in the offseason working hard. Mitchell Trubisky working with these guys, even Cole Kmet, the new rookie. As soon as he got on the team, you see these guys. And, you can poo-poo that stuff all you want, but they've been building chemistry for a while now, and we're going to get to see what that work is here on Sunday, and I can't wait to see it.
Oh, absolutely. I got to take a minute to shout out Bearman who crept into the chat. Got to say what's
there we
up.
go. You're right. Don Wachter, Bearman, a great friend of mine. I wish I had a picture right now to pull up for him, but I don't. One of these days, we're going to bring Bearman on. Maybe one of these awesome. Very soon days. You never know. You never know. So stay tuned because we've got a lot of fun ideas, going forward. So, Bearman is definitely going to be making an appearance on Brags in the Stands. You will be assured of that. So welcome, Bearman. Thank you for coming in.
And welcome to everybody.
Great dude who takes his time for everybody. So truly inspiring. So yeah, let's get into the Bears talk.
Let's get into it.
I've been talking a lot here since the pre-show flow and now here after the intro. And, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And as I said, it's Bears Lions. So, we've got the touchdowns.
Oh my God.
If there's one team that you're going to have great Mitch tape from, it's the Lions. It's
the Lions, and both 2 years in a row, I went to both games, and yeah, he lit it up. So I got all sorts of touchdown highlights. So that was one I wanted to share with you because it was a dime ball and it was from last year. So a little more recent than the 2018 season. People kind of cringe when I pull up the 2018 tape. Sorry, I like it. They're good throws. 2019, though, that was a nice throw. So we need to see more of those here in 2020. Now that he's won the job officially, the news broke last Friday and took the Bears world by storm. But now we're focused on Detroit. And, with the offense, of course, you always have the defense, and we've got highlights for that. I had to play the whole clip because I miss that energy. And then the Return of the Mac, that's the summer song.
Plenty of that. Might be seeing plenty of that on Sunday. Vitai's out, so gonna have I think they have I think his backup tackle has about 7 career starts. Vitai's backup, so he's gonna have a tall order.
And you see the way he'll blow through 3 guys on that highlight, so let alone just one guy with his hands full. But unfortunately, what we thought was going to really unleash Khalil Mack this year on the Detroit Lions week 1 was our new arrival, of Robert Quinn, opposite of Khalil Mack at defensive end, replacing Leonard Floyd, who a lot of Bears fans thought we could get a lot more out of as being a top 10 first-round pick. And now Robert Quinn, the steady veteran, comes in who's has the resume, and now there's all this injury uncertainty, and we haven't been informed of any of this stuff because it's been a weird offseason, COVID-19. No one's at the practices, no fans at training camp. And so Matt Nagy today gave an update on Robert Quinn.
Just to go back to Robert Quinn for a second, the report came out. We know he's doubtful and didn't practice again today. How would you kind of characterize what he's gone through here the last couple of months? I know you said that the ankle is not related to what happened over the summer, but I have to imagine on his part, maybe everyone's part, there's just some frustration that nothing's really happened with him yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think frustration is probably a good word. I know, how Robert is as a person. When you just know who he is, he's pretty laid back, but he's old school too. He's really old school in his mentality of how he approaches things. So, it's where we're at. We'll see. He's doubtful, but again, things could change. So you don't know where things are at, but we'll see.
That's a ton of non-answer there. Like, I don't. What do you even say to that? You'd hope that he didn't.
I
Really
think the
give
thing
himself
that I
something
picked from it the
substantial.
most, it sounds like a lot of frustration, honestly. Because at the beginning he's like, all I have to go off of is tape. And, I don't know, that's not a shot or anything, but it's like, it's almost for him to say, well, I haven't really seen anything from, of him yet, but I know that he is the guy because of who, what his tape was last year. And I think we can all be assured of that. When he gets on the field, he's going to be a great player, but it just sounds like maybe a bit of frustration that he hasn't been able to yet. It's hard to say. There's just so limited information out there, and the media, we're really trying to pick at him now that we've gotten the clear, injury report. Do you have a graphic from the injury report? I know you mentioned you might have grabbed one so we can show the fans exactly, what the Bears injury report looks like here for Friday. And, I don't know. It's a little short. I got tough eyes, so it's hard to exactly make
tough
it
eyes.
out. Yeah, I got tough eyes, Jake.
Basically, everybody's questionable except for Quinn. You got Mack, Montgomery, Patterson. But, they dropped that probable designation, I think, a couple of years ago, if I am correct. So I'm sure a lot of these guys, and if they're trending in the questionable direction, more than likely they're probably going to play. I mean, Khalil was limited all week. That's probably just kind of, keeping the veteran healthy, and
let's hope so.
leaving him rested. He was named the captain for the game, so I don't think you're going to name. Yeah. I don't think you're going to name a captain if his odds are, not good to play the game.
Sure. So. And like I said, the media, if you want to pull back, the media was really digging into Matt Nagy today about, why he's been so close to the vest about giving away injury information. And it seemed like Matt started to get a little perturbed with the line of questioning.
Matt, the last couple of weeks have been pretty.
Try it again.
Oh, I hear it twice. See, I got
the last couple of weeks have been pretty tight-lipped about injuries. Is this what caused you to turn over that leaf? Is this a new policy or a self-scout from the winter or what?
No, not at all. I just, again, you guys are all, you're all Chicagoans, right? At least a lot of people on this call right now. So I think it's fair to say that I'm able to do that, and I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that in regards to our team, I say what I have to say, and that's that. So it's nothing against y'all, man. You guys are all good people. It's a part of the process. I think what I like is the fact that y'all are trying to get me with different questions and different ways to do it, but it is what it is. It's nothing against y'all. I'm just trying to go about this in the way of making sure that you all understand, everybody else understands where we're at as a team right now, injury wise.
Y'all need to understand. Y'all need to understand that I'm not giving you the information. Y'all understand now? Y'all. It's like, how many times did he have to say it? I was watching, and he went from you all to y'all, then back to you all. It was like reminded me of a Rush Hour episode. Honestly, I was laughing.
It ain't you all, it's y'all. Y'all. Man, you sound like a karate movie. Y'all. Say it from right here with some soul. Y'all.
Oh man. That's what it sounded like. I'm watching him, and he's like,
he seemed a little caught off guard with the question, and didn't quite know how to phrase it in a diplomatic way.
Hey, I like it. Hey, he's right. Don't give the media much. Bill Belichick ain't worried about the media's feelings. It's a big boy city. You saw how he got
making Subway commercials.
He knows how he got covered last year. He went from 2018 where it was like, the powder press puff pieces, and then this last year it was the daggers to the back, for everybody, especially Mitchell Trubisky and then Matt Nagy. I think Mitch probably got the most of the brunt end of it, but Matt certainly got quite a bit of criticism. And of course it was because of the development of the quarterback, and Mitch didn't really take that 2.0 leap that Matt promised us in training camp last year. And now he's saying a lot of nice things this year. And I understand why Bears fans are cautious of this. I am optimistic because, of course, that's how I always am.
Greg Braggs.
That's right. So I want to remain optimistic. And hey, let's see how he does. That's how I operate. And if it doesn't work out, I'm willing to wipe the slate clean, but I'd like to take a look. That was always my stance. And here we are. But they brought in talent and they brought in Nick Foles to compete against him. And, there was a lot of rationalization as to why. Of course, the fit system and the coaches, Bill Lazor, John DeFilippo, Matt Nagy, all with a history of, coaching with Nick. I mean, heck, Matt Nagy's the reason Nick Foles is still in the NFL, according to Nick Foles. So, you knew that familiarity was there. But question came out today and a report came out that the Bears actually had their eye on another quarterback, and we're in the derby for one of the top dogs. A lot of Bears fans wanted Cam Newton, but a report came out that a certain Tom Terrific was on the Bears' radar, and Matt Nagy was asked about that today.
This is not an injury question, but you probably won't like it, so I'm sorry, but we have to ask you because we don't talk to Ryan very much. There was a report that came out yesterday that the Bears were, Matt, at least in the mix for Tom Brady when that was all happening, around free agency. Was there any discussion about him when you guys were trying to formulate your idea about maybe what way to go as far as quarterback, way back in the spring?
Well, Jeff, too, it's what we do. What I think one of the biggest strengths that we have is that we look at all options. We do. We look at all options. And so at every position, and that's important to do. So we feel like, okay, at that position, obviously we made a trade for Nick. So that was a position that we were, looking at, and we look at every option with different people. So I'll leave it at that.
Honestly, I hate that question. It's game week and I get you get the report, but it's like, what do you expect him to say? He's trying to talk about the game.
The report came out, so, as Jeff said, he had to ask it.
Sure, I get it, but it's like you could see like the frustration on Nagy's face where he's like, gosh, I have to sit here and actually answer this question. But I get it, of course, but at this point, hey, we're into week one, we're ready to roll. The guys are the guys we have are the guys that are here, and we're ready to do this. So I could see being a little annoyed with that question. What are you gonna do?
Sure. And forgive me, but I am running a little behind on lag. So if I have to hop out here before Tom comes on, it may have to just be. We will see. How's my lag time right now? Because I noticed during the Waddle clip that it was lagging a little bit on my end. What's the chat have to say about this?
I think you're okay. I think it's
okay. Because as I said, as you see at the bottom of the screen, Tom Waddle's coming up, and I want to make sure we've got all our I's dotted and our T's crossed.
You're cool. I think when you start playing some of those clips, it gets a little.
There's my guy, Tommy Waddle to the right. And I don't even know what's left and right. To the right is Tommy Waddle. And then, of course, there's my lovely wife, Jenny, with our daughter, Addison. And this was over the winter. They did a live showing at a bar. And I went and I got to make an appearance during the show and go on stage. As you saw in the intro, it was a lot of fun. And we took some pictures. And there's Abdallah. And, of course, my guy, Sylvie, my dude. And I'm wearing the Sylvie Strong shirt in honor of Mark Silverman. It was his birthday yesterday. And, he's, of course, with the Sylvie Strong shirt, battling, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he's been grinding, and been a real soldier. And we've been really proud of him. He just finished up his last round of chemo, and he's in good spirits and on the right track. So we're rooting for him and always in his corner, 10 toes down over here at Brags in the Stands for my guy, Mark Silverman. And of course the rest of the ESPN 1000 game, but it starts with Sylvie, my guy. I've been calling into him for years, and he holds a soft place in my heart because I've been yelling at him for a long time since he was on with Jay Mariotti, and then to Carmen DeFalco, and then, of course, now with Tommy Waddle. So, yeah, I'm on P1, a day one P1. Thank you very much. So, really excited to have Tommy on, here coming up in about 10 minutes. So, that gives us some time to talk here. We played the videos. We played the Matt Nagy clips. We've shown you the highlights. And, Jake.
Go ahead. Tell me, it's really disappointing not to see Robert Quinn. That is something I was really looking forward to, especially – having a Vaitai out like he's going to be, just to watch him feast. Like that would have been really, really nice. But I am really looking forward to seeing Jalen Johnson on the field. Yeah. He gets the nod. He gets the start. He's got that confidence that you need, that swag, and he seems to be ready to step up.
We tried to play a clip in the pre-show flow of my call into Waddle and Sylvie today where I got to have a huge square off with Mitchell and Desplains. It was really funny. Maybe at the end of the show, we'll share it if it's around.
I'll keep checking for it to see if it pops up.
At the end of the show, if it pops up, maybe we will share it because it really is great. And I'd love to share it with the crowd. But what I talked about before Mitchell and Desplains and I squared off was how excited I was for Jalen Johnson. He, obviously really stands out as a second-round pick. And if you look at his resume, and if he hadn't got an injury, it does appear that he could have easily been a first-round pick with the quality of the talent level. We haven't seen him yet, But we watched that 1920 episode, these Bears episodes. I can't do these every year, Bears. They're incredible.
They're great.
Even if we're going, I still want these, every week. They're really good stuff. It's like Hard Knocks, but for the Bears. And you can see in the video, this rookie class has swag, in particular, Jalen Johnson. I'm really excited to see what he can do opposite of Kyle Fuller. They don't like to go to Kyle Fuller's side. I predicted on ESPN 1000, and you can hear it tonight, Jalen Johnson's getting a pick 6 this Sunday. So get ready. That was my prediction. That's a bold one. Well, they wanted a guarantee. What could I guarantee? And that was going to be my guarantee for this Sunday. So I'm excited for that. It's
He's going to get his opportunities. He's going to get picked on a lot. I mean, you're going to pick on a rookie corner.
Exactly. He's going to get his opportunities, and he's aggressive and has that confidence. So that, to me, equals, a chance to make some plays. Now, of course, we wanted Robert Quinn in there because that was going to get that pass rush going. But for me, this defense is vaunted to have a lot of different players. So, it sucks that he's not available week 1. You just want him to get healthy. Hopefully this isn't more severe than Nagy's leading on. That's your biggest hope. As long as it's 1 week. It
sounded like it was something that just kind of happened. It wasn't.
Well, I hope it's just 1 week and not a 4-week thing. And that's the clarity we'd all love to have as Bears fans. But if I twist it to an optimistic point of view, yes, we lost Robert Quinn, but a couple weeks ago, it looked like we weren't going to have David Montgomery for this game. And now all of a sudden,
bounce back
2 days in a row, full go. You got to think that he's ready to go. And you're hearing different press clippings saying that is the case. So we're going to have to wait and see on Sunday exactly how much they use him. But it is huge because, man, does this team need a run game, regardless of how much Mitchell Trubisky needs to step up. This run game, David Montgomery in particular, needs to get going. They got to figure out how to establish a run and play off of the run game. That's what's going to play to Mitchell Trubisky's strengths. So how they do that, I don't know. They brought in Juan Castillo, the new offensive line coach, replaced Harry Hiestand, a legendary offensive line coach that obviously didn't line up with Matt Nagy's coaching philosophies. And you hope now that they've brought in these guys that have worked with Matt in the past, Juan Castillo, John DeFilippo, Bill Lazor, you hope that combination is what gets Matt the right rhythm, the rhythm we were seeing in 2018. I mean, those guys weren't around in 2018, and I felt like we saw a little bit of that intuition and that creativity that Matt has, and you hope that's what we get back to this season.
And Lazor had a comment just the other day where he was asked about the run game and why they felt confident that it was going to bounce back. And he said, because I see it in practice. Well, guys aren't really making that maybe in full drills like that, but I don't know what you're really seeing in practice, but he sounds confident that they're at least got the right formula to get it rolling. So you like to hear it because you need it.
So Mitch Galloway, a great supporter of ours, he puts out there, it really sounds like there's a strong chance Quinn could play. And I don't really see that at this point.
I hope so. I mean, he is doubtful on the report. So I'm hoping that maybe there's a chance. Of course, doubtful there's still a chance. But
of course, our guy Chubbs82 chimes in and he is agreeing with Mitch Galloway.
Yeah.
So, hey,
not saying he's not playing, but it just reading the tea leaves with the doubtful designation. He hasn't practiced all week. He's missed a lot of the offseason. So
he's a veteran that you don't want to rush back. It's a long season. An extra team in each conference makes the playoffs. So, you don't want to bring him back, and then it become a bigger injury. It's, ankle, right? So that is something you don't want to upset further. So I don't know exactly the exacts on what his injury is, but we're going to find out on Sunday, and I hope he does play. If he does, obviously he's signed off on it. So we'll see how it goes, but really excited to see. I'm going to pull the Tom Waddle ticker off the bottom of the screen. It's been running for a little too long.
You're just trying to get everybody pumped up,
Well, and I love playing with this stuff, and pulling up the comments. This is the first night I've really gotten into that stuff.
We gave Greg a permission strip to go crazy.
You gave me the keys to the car. You gave crazy.
We said, just go for it. Let's see what happens. So if
crazy like wild, a fox.
If things get wild, that's the point. We're kind of doing everything from scratch.
It's exciting stuff. We're moments away from bringing on my guy Tommy Waddle. There we are in the ESPN studios on State Street, that great street in Chicago. I'm going to be doing a unity walk with my guy David Kaplan here in a couple weeks, and going to be walking from State Street Studios 30 miles with David Kaplan all the way to his house in honor of Unity.
30 miles.
Doing it for charity. They give books to underprivileged kids, and Cap's trying to raise as much money to that cause, and I'm trying to show as much support as I can to that and to him and to the idea of unity. Of course, that's what it's all about. You saw that at the Kansas City game, the Chiefs game, with the players coming together in the middle of the field. This is a tough time in 2020, and people need to start coming together despite everything going on and differences, and a racial divide, pandemic divide, political divide, everything else. Sports and music are what brings people together, and that's why I flow to those things. That's why
we need a full NFL season. Yes. Everyone deserves it because we've had so much taken from us in 2020.
We got an election
coming
up.
Season. Just give us a season
coming up in November that no one can agree. Got everything else. We can all agree that we love sports, so that's why we're here at Brags in the Stands to have some fun, talk some sports, and bring some fun guests on, do some fun segments. We got gambling segment coming on later that we're going to, announce and show you guys how it's going to work going forward. A lot of fun stuff coming in.
We're going to make our picks too for the rest of the NFL slate. We're going to be making our picks.
We're going to do picks. We're going to talk Bears. We're going to do it all. We're going to talk all Chicago sports or wherever I'm at. If I'm at a game in the region watching, sectionals basketball, you're going to see some of that footage. You're going to maybe talk to the guy that hit the game-winning shot, as you saw in the intro. Nick Anderson, a buzzer beater in the corner from Lake Central High School. One of the craziest moments I've ever seen, and the fans come piling out of the stands and jump. It was one of the coolest moments. That's what I live for as a sports fan, and that's what this show is going to be. And, of course, bringing on the big-time guests is another thing we're going to do, and that's what we're going to be doing tonight. So I'm going to send the text over to Tommy Waddle, former Chicago Bear. There are a lot of callers into ESPN 1000 like to call him a 85 Bear, but he's not an former 85 Bear. He did not win the Super Bowl, but he is one of the toughest SOBs to ever put on a Chicago Bears jersey. And I'm honored to call him a friend now after all these years of harassing him on ESPN 1000, and now he has to be my friend. So it's a curse.
Now he has to be my friend.
Yes, he has no choice.
You harass somebody into friendship. That's why I'm your friend.
Exactly. It's mind manipulation. It's the same way I got Jennifer to marry me. It's easy. It takes time, but you really got to just hammer away. And that's what I did.
You can do it.
So, I'm excited. I just sent him the text, and hopefully he retrieves it and receives it and receives it. He is a wide receiver.
Nothing like sending that text right at 7:30, huh, Greg?
Well, I told him to be ready. He's, he's Tommy on the spot. So when
he's ready. He's always ready.
When he's ready, he can join us. But we're excited for him. And, Tommy is
look at that.
Like I said,
he's already in the chat.
There he is. Let's pull him on up.
Let's get some music going here. Huh?
How about it, Tommy Waddle? Look at what the cat drug in. How are you, Tommy?
I'm good, fellas. How are you?
Doing great.
We are great. We're excited to talk some Bears with you. We don't want to keep you too long, so we want to get right into it. But
I gotta put my glasses on so I can see you guys.
There you go.
I know, right?
This is all new to us too, Tom. I did an audio show for a year, and now we've converted to video because me with my phone out all the time, recording the shots. I got to share this stuff with the fans, so this is a must. So I appreciate you doing the video. You always have your shirt off on Twitch, so I'm glad you have a shirt on for tonight's show.
One time.
One time.
There was a great shot where you had a shirt on. How about this picture, Tommy?
That's my girl, Addie. I have a soft spot in my heart for daughters. I have 4 of them myself, and You are one lucky man, Greg. I know that everybody knows you as a fantastic Bears fan, but they all know, I know that even ahead of the Bears, your daughter is the apple of your eye.
Oh man, you are absolutely right, Tommy. When they say a child changes you, it absolutely is the truth. All those cliches of it goes fast and they change you and all that stuff, it rings very
Wait till you
true.
have 4 of them, my friend.
Well, that's the thing. We're getting ready to move out. This man cave you see behind me is about to be torn down tomorrow. We're moving on the 26th. So a lot is going on, and Jenny's keep putting the full court press for more little ones in the house. And that's my fear, Tom, is I'm going to have the 4 girls. I want a boy, of course, so I can groom him into becoming a Chicago Bear. And, of course, I had to learn the hard lesson the first time of like, you think you're going to have a boy, then you have a girl, and you don't know how that feels. And then the girl steals your heart. So you just don't, you don't know how it's going to go. It's scary, but it's exciting too.
You know what? It sounds like a cliche, but it's true that all you really hope for is a healthy child. And, it's so funny. We had our first 27 years ago. And then we had our second, she's 25, and, both were girls, obviously. And then we had our third, Leah, she's 22. And when we had Leah, it was so funny because people would come up to my wife, Cart, and I, and they said, wow, I'm so sorry. Mostly me, and say, I'm so sorry that you had another girl. I know you wanted a boy. I was like, I don't know where you got that. I wasn't looking to have boys. I mean, and quite frankly, at this point, I'm better raising girls than I would be as a boy. So
you're preaching to the choir there. I was raised by women, my mom and my sister and 2 other girls. I was me and 4 girls at all times on vacations. I used to joke that I ruined 24 or 26 Christmases, that. So when it was easy once we brought a girl, and now I'm outnumbered again. I got my dog Bailey though. He's the boy balancing things out. So
well, look at you. I've got a dog as well, Lola. It's obviously a girl, so everything in my house is female, and I'm just fine with all of it.
That's right. That's a balance. You need the balance, right? Yeah. It's exciting stuff. So we've got a lot of fun stuff, like I said, and we're going to try to be as fast as we can with it because I don't want to keep you too long. But we wanted to start it out with some fun stuff and maybe share a video along with the crowd of kind of what you were all about as a player. And there were some cool videos that came across Twitter in the last few months that I wanted to share with the crowd.
Waddle. Oh my goodness, what a catch at the 21. Tommy Waddle. Looked like he had a baseball glove, one-handed it, and beat Eddie Johnson.
There's so many good things happen on this play. Watch Waddle's right hand. Watch him create some room for himself. He puts his hand on Johnson right there and then steps away from him and makes the catch. That could have been offensive interference. You couldn't really see it from that angle.
People suggested that was offensive interference. That was not.
Yeah, he was suggesting it.
He called you out.
Eddie Johnson was clinging to my arm, and all I did was try to get Eddie's arm off of me. And so, I mean, listen, don't let anybody tell you.
They didn't have all the angles at that time.
They didn't, right? That's.
I don't know, Tommy. We can break down the tape here.
Break it down all you want, my man.
You don't see the push off. I don't know if we're going to call it. I don't want to disrespect the maneuver.
By the way, you know what? That's the old. We had too big a crowd to play Penn State on campus at BC. So that was the old Sullivan Stadium. We played where the Patriots played.
One of the bigger crowds you played behind, huh? Look at that. What a catch,
showing
Tommy.
up in front of the bigger crowd.
No gloves.
Everybody says in the chat, I got to stop calling you Tommy. Do you not like being called Tommy?
No, that's what everyone called me growing up.
Tommy football, baby. Come on.
I get people that call me from Cincinnati now, and then they all say, Tom, who's Tom Waddle? I mean, when I was a kid growing up, all the way into college, everyone called me Tommy. I don't know why. When I got to Chicago in '89, everyone kind of just called me Tom. I don't know why.
Well, you're Tommy
I
Waddle
got
now.
puffy hair
You're
tonight too. Wow.
Tommy hair. We both had the crazy pandemic hair for quite a while, but then I shaved it off. But my guy here, I should introduce him. My co-host here, Jake Ovanik. He stood up at my wedding, a brother of mine.
Good to meet you, Tom.
We went to elementary school and the whole bit. He had a thought. We were talking before the show, kind of you're coming up, in comparison to what players are doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most unbelievable offseason probably in NFL history, I would imagine. So you're an undrafted guy. I mean, how could you imagine coming up as an undrafted guy when the whole offseason has been just absolutely decimated?
I would have never made the team. I mean, this has been, like you said, it's a once in a lifetime environment. Obviously, there's never been anything like this. And truthfully, if I had been in this situation when I was coming out of school in Boston College, I would have never made the team. I thrived in practice and I thrived in preseason games, and it was the only way I was going to make a team. So I feel tremendous sympathy for all of those guys that didn't get drafted, and guys that, fight hard throughout the course of a training camp and find their way onto a roster. Now, the one positive is I think that practice squads are significantly larger than they used to be.
Absolutely.
But it's tough. I mean, it's really, it's unfortunate that these kids that came out and that weren't drafted and are trying to make squads, that this is what they've been faced with. There's no question about it.
Yeah, it seems to be a kind of sentiment with a lot of undrafted guys. They've kind of come out and they've kind of said similar things. So it's just, hey, you gotta, the Bears did bring on some undrafted guys onto the practice squad, so they did get their chances. But yeah, that's
it's funny.
A tough go.
It's interesting too. I think it's the Seahawks with Pete Carroll, and I believe they said earlier this week that Pete's going to use the first couple of games to really evaluate the back end of his roster, because he didn't feel like, when they put their roster together, he wasn't really sure what they had on the back end, and they're going to rotate a lot of guys early in the season and use the first couple of games. Obviously, they're going to try to win these games, but in some ways use them as opportunities for guys to kind of prove what they can do in a game environment.
Yeah.
Well, we're rolling along. We have a hop and chat. Everybody's showing their comments. This was a funny one. Someone told me to stop interrupting Tommy. Apparently, they haven't heard me on ESPN 1000 call into you guys and talk football, because that's kind of what I'm.
You're actually being pretty measured.
Yeah,
I am trying. I told you I was going to keep it as tight as I could. You
know what, Greg? Today I actually complimented both you and Mitch and Displains, because you guys both were very patient and you both allowed each other to talk. I thought it was.
We're learning this radio game.
Progress.
I'm taking as many tips as I can and following your lead now. This is what I do. So I gotta try to learn to be a little more precise with my words and not just yell into the microphone.
Just remember, as somebody said a long time ago, much wiser than the three of us, God gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth for a reason.
Sounds good. Well, going back to
makes up for only having one of them, though.
Yeah, that's right. I do, for everybody in this room. But now, to go back to your playing days, we had another highlight here that came across the Twitter sphere a couple
this was big
weeks ago. And man, got to tell you, Tom, I thought maybe this was Devin Hester out there. What is going on? Where did this come from?
Watch the wheels at the very end. I did not try to fumble that punt, but now I'm just pulling away from people.
Look at that.
We call game speed. Jerry Rice had it. I had no.
Jerry Rice don't hold a candle.
It's a preseason game, so I don't know how hard everyone's playing. I know I was playing as hard as I could, but there was a time early in my day where I was, I can move a little bit.
Heck yeah.
Well, why don't we get into the Bears now? We've shown the highlights, had some fun. I wanted to try to integrate video into this, so we had to do it and show you some fun. So share with the audience what you were all about as a Chicago Bear. But now we're on to the 2020 Bears. We've had our outs with the Mitch versus Foles. Now we're focused on the Detroit Lions. No more quarterback competition talk, at least for now, for 5 minutes until the noon kickoff and then the first incomplete pass.
The first pick is thrown and then
or a touchdown. Either way, positive. Got to push the positivity out there. But I do want to know, we've got to get the quarterback thought out of the way first. And I want to know, do you envision any scenario where Mitchell Trubisky starts 16 games?
I mean, I would say this, Greg. I mean, I'm not hoping for change because my hope is he plays all 16 games. That means that he has made the strides and he's learned from his mistakes and he's developed and gotten rid of some of the bad habits, and they're winning games and they don't have to make a change at quarterback. If I was placing a bet on it, just to be honest, I would bet that at some point they're going to have to make a change. And I say that based on what I saw in 2019. And again, I've told you a bunch, Mitch can do some nice things, but at the end of the day, there's some things on film that scare the hell out of me. They really do. I mean, there are things that make me feel concerned about his feel for the game and his footwork. And listen, what we hear up at Hallis Hall in a short training camp environment is that he's really worked hard on his feet, his fundamentals. And that to me is the most obvious thing. Like when the heat comes and you've got, Fletcher Cox and you've got, Everson Griffin, and you've got some of the elite pass rushers bearing down on you, your mechanics break down, your footwork breaks down, and then you start to kind of panic. The game speeds up on you and you find yourself in trouble. If he can slow those things down, it proves to us early that he's cleaned up some of those things and he's not shuffling into sacks, and he is going through progressions, and he's not just to see it, throw it quarterback. If he makes those improvements, then he'll stay in there a lot longer. Look, I mean, nobody's cheering for Mitch to fail. I mean, if you are, like, I'm not going to tell anyone how to be a fan. I'm not. The kid's a good kid. He works hard. He just, to me, my fear is, Greg, that in crunch time against better teams, the film shows me and the past shows me that I should be concerned, and it's more likely than not that at some point they're going to have to go to Nick.
So I was listening to you on ESPN 1000 a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, I should say, talking about how this offense is predicated on the tight end. And obviously last year the Bears didn't have one. So to me, it's not an excuse make, but I do feel like, run game obviously is a big one, but the tight end is so important to this offense to, they talk so much about touchdown to check down for this kind of an offensive philosophy. I want to know, what tandem are you more excited to see for this offense? Jimmy Graham and Ted Ginn, the vets, or Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney?
I'd probably say Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney because I've seen what Jimmy and I've seen what Ted can do. And I think they'll add, solid elements to this game. I think Ted Ginn, Ted's not going to catch 70 passes, but Ted can take the top off of defense much in the way that Gabriel did last year. So I think he'll play an important role. I played with Cole Kmet's dad for a couple of years here in Chicago. Frank, a great guy, great family. I loved what I saw from him at Notre Dame. I don't know where his ceiling is. Is he going to be, like Travis Kelce? Is he going to be Zach Ertz? That I can't tell you, but I think that he is a guy that's going to contribute quite a bit as a rookie. Hopefully his ceiling is very high, but I know his floor is at an acceptable level, and he's going to contribute early. So I would say I'm more interested in seeing the young guys because I've kind of seen what the other people can do. And I would kind of, to piggyback on what you said too, I mean, I made this quite clear last year. This is not a singular quarterback problem. This offense, I would say to anyone that would ask, I was more disappointed in Matt as a play caller than I was Mitch in a quarterback. And
definitely,
my feeling was I had higher expectations for Matt maybe than I did Mitch. But I don't think Matt did a great job of putting Mitch in position to take advantage of what Mitch does well. I don't think they stayed committed to running the football. Collectively, their receivers dropped as many or more passes as anyone in the league. There were a lot of problems on offense. So when I'm critical of Mitch, please understand that I'm critical of him because he plays the most important position in all of professional sports.
Of course, of course. I've never had qualms with anybody that's had harsh criticism. I thought at the first game out the gate, it was a little unfair standing in the stands. For halftime, they're booing them into the tunnel. I'm like, can we all relax here? And of course, they obviously had the right to be upset because it continued on throughout the season. But that's where it gets stuck in my craw, is like right away being so negative. negative about it. But, fans have their reasons. I never get mad at a fan for being however they want to be. I know Black and Abdallah always give me crap for saying I'm one way. I am. You know how I am. Everybody knows how I am. But
you
Black
know
can
how
stop.
it is, Greg. You know what? I mean, I think this city is so starved for good, consistent, above average
We've been
quarterback
burned.
play that, Mitch is going to receive. It's not his. Listen, Mitch wasn't. I think he was thrilled. He was drafted second overall, but it's not his fault.
Right.
It's not his fault also that we've been in a quarterback starved environment here in Chicago for, a very long time and years before Mitch even got here. So I think in some ways he's the recipient of the angst and the anger and the disappointment that has been part of being a Bears fan for quite some time with regard to the position.
Oh, absolutely. And not to mention we've seen what happens when you have a championship caliber defense and you don't have what it takes on offense to match. That happened to us previously.
Yeah.
And so now you have the same equation and you're thinking, please let us just put it together in offense because you've got that championship caliber defense. So I understand the frustration on that end.
Yeah. You know what? Like I've said, I also like my mantra this week, and it's not, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not even looking to be funny. But when it comes to the offense, I said, hey, guys, what I hope for is average. And average last year in the 2019 season for an offense was 354, 355 yards and 23 points per game. If this Bears offense can produce 355 yards and 23 points per game, they're going to win more than they lose because their defense is still very, 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 very good. So just be average on offense. I think it's unrealistic to think they can go from 29th in most meaningful statistics across the board on offense to be a top 10 offense. But if you can go from 29th to 18th, 17th, 16th, somewhere in that range, yeah, like I said, you're going to win more. I mean, you're going to win 9, 10, 11 games. Can they do that? That's the $64 million.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They went 8-8, and I know they could have easily been 6-win team because of how pitiful they were, and they had some fortune against quarterbacks that shouldn't have been in there. But that's how close football is every season. Herm Edwards always says the difference between 10-6 and 6-10 is about 5 plays. Yeah. This defense is going to keep them in one-score games. My question watching the game last night was, Andy Reid, it took him so long to become what he is now. And he had to leave the Eagles, had a great career there, and now he's at the Chiefs. Is Matt Nagy going to become Andy Reid for the Chicago Bears?
It's a good question, Greg. I mean, that's a very high.
Hit the bell, Black.
Yeah, exactly. That's a high, bar to meet or to clear. I mean, Andy's one of the best in the league and has been for a while. But you also remember, look, if you go back in time, you're not as old as I am. But if you go back 10, 12 years, maybe even not that far, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Andy had his critics. I mean, Andy was always criticized for how poorly he managed the clock. I've always thought Andy's a fantastic coach, but I think Andy's really enhanced his reputation and people have really seen how good he is as time has gone by. And a lot of it has to do with the guys you're working with.
Absolutely.
You can be a great coach. If you have average talent, the odds are you're going to be an average coach. If you're an average coach and you have great talent, there's a good chance you're going to be an above average coach because of the players you have. In Kansas City, Brett Veach and those guys deserve a ton of credit for the people that they brought in. And like Andy's done and Eric Bieniemy and Matt before him, they've done a beautiful job getting the most out of that talent. But, I would never put a ceiling on Matt. Again, I thought Matt was out. I think what Matt does better than anything right now, and he's a young head coach who's had 2 years in the league. So if you look at what he did in 18 and you look at what he did in 19, you're still kind of unsettled on where you think he's going and what the arc is. I'm 100% convinced that as a guy who sets a culture inside the locker room, he's A+. I mean, you can talk to anybody inside that building, the players, they love him. I think away from the game on Sunday in terms of game plans, he's fantastic. He's going to learn from some of the mistakes that he made on the field. this past
Absolutely.
season. I mean, and he's admitted it. He's said that I've self-scouted and I
Said
need
it
to
on
do
your
better.
show. Sylvie
Right.
hit him with the hard question. I think that's, look at Doug Peterson with the Eagles. He had to learn. You got to learn. Just like Mitchell Trubisky is learning. He's got to learn different ways and what to do and what not to do, how to push guys. You heard him talk about how holding his players more accountable is something he had to learn how to do. Some coaches, that comes natural for him. He's got to learn, and become more of what Lovie Smith maybe was for the Chicago Bears. Now, I know – go ahead, Tommy. I know.
No,
I
was just going to say, too, there were a lot of people, Greg, at the end of last year, like Sylvie and I always had this argument that, I call his play sheet the Denny's menu because it's so large. It's big.
Yeah.
And we would always argue. Some people didn't like how he called plays. I didn't like how he called plays in 2019, but he was brought here to be creative and take this offense to a new level and to be the play caller and not just be the guy who sets the tone in the locker room, but also be the guys that creates an innovative approach to playing offensive football. So, I'm all on board for Matt calling plays, getting out there, and kind of reasserting himself and trying to build off the mistakes that he made last year. And I think he will. I mean, I think everyone deserves the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and try to improve. And I'm very excited to see how Matt improves in terms of his play calling and some of his situational decisions and things like that. So
absolutely.
You learn.
I think you saw those frustrations come out, just like Mitchell Trubisky, you make the excuse train for him of Matt Nagy only has the parts he can work with. And you heard him at one point in the off or after a game one time, he's like, I did try to run it 6 yards, 1 yard, 3 yard. You see a pattern. And I think he's just trying to say, look, I can only do what I can do. And then if he doesn't have a tight end to throw to, and if he doesn't have a line that is doing the correct things and is on the same page with Harry Houston, what's he supposed to do? So I hope that they're all on the same page, because that's how a football team, wins games. Now, Tommy, I know I promised you to keep it tight, but I cannot leave my guy, Dan Aguirre. So my whole idea is to always bring a fan on that has an opportunity to tell their hero or ask their hero a question. That's what I want to give fans an opportunity with the Tariq Cohen dance off. Give a fan an opportunity to tell Tariq the dance to move. And now I want to give a fan an opportunity to ask you a question. I get to ask you and talk to you so much on ESPN 1000. I can only do that for the fans that listen to this show. And this guy, I've known him for a few years now, is a Bears historian to its core, probably the greatest Bears historian you'll ever meet. You've interacted with him a few times on Twitter, Bears Fan Dan. His name's Dan Aguirre, and I cannot wait to introduce you to him. Why don't you pull him up on the screen, because I know he's got a question for Tommy here, and he's in the background working hard. There he is, Dan, my guy. So like I said, the biggest Tom Waddle fan I know, and I'm happy to introduce you to. So go ahead and fire away, Dan.
Thank you for having me on, Greg. And Tom, I don't want to embarrass myself or you, but I was 10 years old when you caught the pass against Minnesota on opening day and the Jets game that had me up at 1 a.m. Eastern time on Monday Night Football. So again, I've been a fan of yours for 30 years.
Thank you, Dan. It's very nice of you to say.
Yes, sir. We interact on Twitter from time to time. I'm Bears Fan Dan. You've always been gentleman to me, and I thank you for that. I wish your wife well and Sylvie well.
Thank you.
Additionally, my question to you, please. I asked you a variation of this on the air, and I know the radio's the today business, so it's kind of hard to get you to go back 30 years. But if you could just indulge me, if I could give you refer to the truth serum. 2 years ago, everyone had this theory that the Bears would have gone to the Super Bowl potentially if Parkey would have made the field goal. My theory has always been the 91 Bears. If Jim leads the comeback, down 17-13 in the Cowboy game, let's just say hypothetically you all win that game. Just hypothetically. My theory has been you go to the Silverdome. I love Eric Kramer, but they're not going to get 38 points on the Bears. And you all have already played them twice. My theory has been you beat Detroit. You played Washington once. You talking about the championship game. The first game you lost because Charles Mann sacked Harbaugh like 5 times. But maybe you make that adjustment based upon that first game. And then Super Bowl, hypothetically, Buffalo, you played them tight in the first half up at Rich Stadium, but this would be in the Metrodome, a place you've gone many times and are familiar with. And again, you would have had the experience of already playing them. So my truth serum is, if you can just go hypothetically and say the Bears beat Dallas, What do you think could have happened for that 91 team, whether it be Detroit, Washington, or Buffalo?
Dan, I love your optimism, and I love the what you've laid out. I don't know if we were good enough, top to bottom, to have gone ahead and done all the things that you laid out there. We were, I think, if you go back and look at the team defensively, I think we're still very, very good. Offensively, we were led by Neil Anderson, obviously, who was a fantastic player. I don't know if we had enough firepower. Wendell Davis was a great, great wide receiver. I filled a role that we needed. The offensive line was still very good from the glory days. I just don't know if offensively we had enough to get to the ultimate game. So I'd like to say yes, you're right, but I don't know, with the benefit of hindsight, that we would have been able to make the run offensively. I think our defense could have done it, but I'm not so sure we had enough firepower, rather, to get to where we wanted to go. And listen, I'm as culpable as anybody. If I'm your number one or number two wide receiver, it's going to be really difficult to hang a 30-point afternoon on somebody. But I like where you were going with it. I mean, it seemed very optimistic. I don't know how realistic it would have been.
Well, do you think at the bare minimum you could, no pun intended, you could have beaten the Lions the next week?
I think so. If I have to go back and look, I mean, my memory is not the greatest in the world right now.
You all lost on Thanksgiving in the Silver Dome. You won at Soldier Field.
Yeah, we weren't like overly. Was that the year too where when the Lions clinched that Wayne Fontes was up in the press box smoking a cigar? Like when I think we lost at some point. I remember. I think that was in the '91 season.
The Bears played the last game that year at Candlestick. Had you all won in San Francisco, you would have clinched the division on Monday Night Football.
Right.
And if Butler would have made the field goal against the Dolphins, you would have won the division as well.
Okay, your memory is like crazy good. But if I remember correctly, as we're losing to the 49ers on Monday Night Football, isn't Wayne Fontes, they had a camera on him smoking a victory cigar. Is that right?
You're probably right. I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
I think Ditka wanted.
I think Ditka wanted to fight him after we saw that, but we never got a chance to get to him and if you remember correctly, when we lost to Dallas in '91, it wasn't even Troy Aikman. Aikman was out. It was Steve Berline. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Jim was in the hospital like on the Friday before the game.
Yes. Yeah.
He was sick. Something was wrong with him. It was quite.
It was a crazy. You know what Dan, you know what I remember as much about that game as anything. We went down. I think it was a Saturday game. I think it was Saturday. We played it was a wild card game because we didn't win the division. We went down that week to practice at Soldier Field, and I remember stepping out onto the field for practice. It was either Wednesday or Thursday, and the field was brown. It was like there was no grass left on the field at all. So we had our practice that day, and it was like we were practicing somewhere, just out in a parking lot somewhere or in a field somewhere. When we came out to play that game, I think it was a Saturday or whenever it was, in the morning, when we came out for pregame warmup, that field was Kelly green. They had painted the field totally green. They hadn't resodded it or anything. They just spray painted the field as green as they could. And we all had such a laugh before things kicked off because of just the look of the field.
Can I ask you one more question? I know you need to go. Could you give me, because I've never heard your thoughts on it, could you just switch topics momentarily? Could you give me your viewpoints or thoughts of the wild card game that you all did win against Minnesota?
That game was in '94. It was the '94 game. Is that what it was? In 1994?
Yeah, and then you lost in San Francisco, which would have been your last Bear game, right?
Yeah. That was, yes, and we lost in San. That was my last game with the Bears. If I remember correctly, it was a game where defensively we really did a great job. I think we sacked, forget who was at quarterback for who was playing Moon. Warren Moon. That's right. I think we had a bunch of sacks. I think we took the ball away quite a bit. I think, like in typical Bear fashion, I think what we did well was defensively. Offensively, am I right to say that Raymond Harris had a big day that day?
Yeah, and Jeff Grant.
Jeff Graham was fantastic. One of the best receivers I ever played with. Dan, your memories is like ridiculous, as good as anyone I've ever talked to. It's certainly not. My memory doesn't stack up with yours. That's for sure.
Mike North told me I needed to get over all these games. He said I needed to light a candle and just relax and let it all
go. What I tell you, Tommy, this guy is historian, kind of sort of put it mildly. I've never met someone with the infinite knowledge of Bears history like Dan.
Unbelievable.
Truly, you should keep him around, Tommy. If you don't remember all your playing days, he will definitely be able to tell you exactly what play on what down and distance at what time, and he can even tell you what the weather was that day.
Yeah, great.
I'm not messing around.
I'm embarrassed that I don't remember it as well as he does.
One last thing.
Make it quick, Danny boy, because we got to cut old Tommy boy loose. Go ahead, you're good.
Last thing. Last season, I tagged Tom. I don't know if he saw it on Twitter, but I heard him say on Waddle and Sylvie that the one guy that made him starstruck, I guess, that he met was Fred Biletnikoff.
Yes.
And I tagged him in the '93 game, Bears and Raiders. I think Dick Enberg, he compared you to Fred Biletnikoff. So I tagged you. He said you were the Bears' Fred Biletnikoff. So I tagged you on that point of the game when he said that. I thought that would make me proud.
Dan, you know what's funny about that as well? I think I have one autograph. Here, hold on one second. I have one autograph in my office. Just one. Okay?
Wow.
I think,
yes, sir.
I think I only have one autograph in my office in here.
Somewhere in there.
I had we were in the Super Bowl, and I met Fred Biletnikoff when we were at the Super Bowl covering it. And if you see that, I think it's Super Bowl 29. Is that the case? Whatever it was, I believe it was in Miami. And this was my name tag, okay? And you can barely see it, but that's Fred Biletnikoff's autograph.
Yeah, I see it there.
The only autograph I
gave
have.
You the ink. I've got 1 million autographs, Tommy. I'm like, it's like my boss always be like, why do you always want an autograph? Who cares? It's like he hunts deer. I like to get autographs. I like to hang the jersey. One day I'm gonna have a nice big man cave with a whole wall, and I'm gonna have that Tommy Waddle, the traveling Waddle jersey on that wall too, because I stole it from you. Now, Danny, we appreciate Dan Aguirre. We appreciate you coming on, and I know how much of a fan you are of Tom's. So, but we got to cut you loose because Tom's going to kill me here in a second. So, appreciate you, Dan, and we'll talk to you here soon.
Thank you.
Thanks again, man. I had to bring him on because he brings it, man, and I'm sorry for keeping you so long. You can kill me at the end of the Unity Walk if you're there.
Hey, listen.
I'm going to be walking with Kaplan.
The only reason that I said to you, hey, I got to keep it short. My wife had hip replacement surgery on Tuesday.
Wow.
So I got to keep an eye on her. Who would have ever thought
Absolutely.
the first person in our house
well,
who would
give
give
her my best and
all the best
apologize to her. We needed you tonight. It's our first episode live, and everyone was so looking forward to seeing you. And you brought it, man. And it's an honor to break down your film and do all this stuff. Truly an honor, and you've done so much for me, and I'll never be able to truly repay it completely, and that frustrates me. But I'll always be there for you. I'll run through a brick wall for you, and that's the best I can offer.
Greg, you're a special guy. Please know how much I appreciate you and your support. I'm very proud of you and in this endeavor, and I wish you guys the best of luck. And I'm honored to be a guest, and whenever you need me, give me a holler, my friend.
Well, you're stuck with me. It's a curse. It's a blessing and curse to be my friend, but you are stuck with me now, sir. You and Sylvie. Sylvie's strong, my guy. I didn't want to bug him tonight to make him come on. I thought about it, but I was like, we'll just have Tommy.
You gave your phone number. Now it's all downhill
Friday
from there.
off. He's been going through these tough Fridays here in the last few months. I'm going to give it off, but you tell him he's next. I'm going to be asking him next. I'm always asking you guys. The final question. Prediction for this Sunday, Bears-Lions, 12 o'clock kickoff.
I picked the Bears to win this game 23-16, and you'll be happy to know I predicted that Mitch will have a nice game. I think I said he'd throw for 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and the Bears would find a way to win by a touchdown in Detroit.
Whoa!
Love it.
And I thought I was the fan, but I'm more skeptical. I'm so scared. I'm one of those
Mitch
guys
comes to play in Detroit and against the Lions every time.
People say I hedge my bets. I don't hedge my bets. I don't like jinxing things. I I'll talk a lot of crap, but then when it gets to the point of like hype, unless I'm like really confident, I get scared because I don't want to jinx it. So this is the no hype season for me because I learned my lesson from last year. So it's no hype, just win. But I love that prediction, and I hope it comes true. And on Victory Monday, I'm calling in and screaming at you about a win. So Tommy Waddle, again, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Truly
much.
an honor. Can't thank you enough. I will continue to thank you. And I also don't know how to sign off, guys. So go ahead, enjoy your weekend. Happy Football Friday. I'll be texting you on Sunday, my friend.
Okay, you got it. Be well.
Take care.
Bear down.
Thank you. How cool is that?
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Tom Waddle, legend of the Bears. Somebody questioned that. I was like, yes, he is a legend.
Absolutely.
If you watched him play and watched how he wore his heart on his sleeve and put his neck out there for this team, he is a legend of the Chicago Bears. And of course, killing it on ESPN 1000 for many years with my guy, Mark Silverman. So we appreciate him taking so much time. Man, I tried to keep it tight, and it literally was impossible. And he's going to kill me, and that's okay. I'll take my lumps, but it was worth it. And I will cherish this interview in that episode for the rest of my life.
What a great guy.
Being the first man to be able to break down some tape, talk some Bears. And Dan, how about Dan bringing it? Shout out to Dan. Dan Aguirre.
He's unbelievable. I mean, just the way that he can recall things is insane.
It really is. If you really he was having a conversation with somebody the other day about a concert in '94, and then he would reference the Bears game that was that Sunday 2 days later. It really is amazing the way his mind works and can remember and recall things like that. Like, I'm able to recall certain moments of music. It'll always put me back to a time and a place, but it seems like any little particular, note that he remembers takes him back to that moment. It's pretty cool.
That's
pretty
unreal.
Cool.
That's unreal.
And Tommy was blown away because Tommy don't remember anything, so he needs Dan around him. There's
he's like a walking diary of what you did that day. So it's
pretty
wild.
Last time I had Tom on, he was telling me how much of a fan he was, and I always remembered that. And I could not think of anybody more deserving to be able to talk and ask a question at time. So I'm glad I was able to facilitate that for Dan, and can't thank Tom Waddle enough for coming on.
Unbelievable.
So that being said, we've still got a lot of fun stuff planned for you guys tonight. As I said, we have a couple more. We're not going anywhere. This is our first show. We're always going to try to keep our shows to 2 hours, but tonight, the Waddle interview went a little over. That's okay. And we're going to do a little more fun stuff.
You keep Tommy Waddle on as long as he wants to talk.
Oh man, if he's going to keep rolling, I know we promised a certain time and we didn't hit that, but the energy was just too good to
we
pass.
We didn't get to ask him why he doesn't go by Gregory, because that's his first name.
That's true. And we also didn't get to bust out this. We didn't get to bust out this picture. We should have. It's a shame, but that's okay. There's our guy David Kaplan with hair. Whoa, how about that? I'm doing a unity walk with him week from Monday, so I can't wait. And both those guys working a game together. We should have. We have so many things.
30 miles.
Next time he comes on, he can explain why he doesn't use the name Greg. I'm named Greg. I wear it proudly. So. But as I said, we've got a lot of fun stuff planned for you tonight. But before we do, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor for our show. That's right. We already have a sponsor, and he's a great friend of mine. And I've been talking to him over the last month about coming in on this project. And it is an honor to say that he is our first official sponsor. And that being said, I have a line to read for our commercial, and it goes like this. This Tom Waddle interview is brought to you by Fanbags Cornhole, Chicago's official supplier of professional cornhole boards and bags. Choose from any of their officially licensed designs, or have my boy Brian design a custom set using anything from a selfie to your company's logo. Visit www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS for 10% off. Step up your game with Fanbags Cornhole. How'd I do, Jake?
That was pretty good. I kind of screwed up when I was trying to put in a new overlay, but hey,
That's
whatever.
okay. You
did
saw
awesome,
when
man.
I dared touch the overlay when we were
Yeah,
when we were talking to Waddle. I saw it. It was like a cookie, and you're like, don't touch the cookie. And then I touched it, and then all of a sudden everything went wrong, and you saw my face. But hey, this is a first episode, and you got to roll with the punches, and you learn from your mistakes.
It's learning.
I will not be touching the overlays.
I wanted to make sure
100% be Jake's job until
I'm in control now. I'm running the show, but I screwed up. So I wanted to make sure that we got this up so Adam could see it before we pull him on, because I don't know if we're gonna have 3 people on screen. You're not always gonna be able to see that. So
no, well, we are. So pull it off, because you don't want him to see it, and then he'll get upset. So how about
you can see it right now?
That's right. So why don't we bring him on now, because his graphic is up, and we are excited to bring him on. You can take one of us off the screen. Take one of us off. That way. There we go. There's the 3. How are we? My guy, Adam Gray, joins the show. For those of you watching, this guy has become one of my best friends in this world, and he lived right down the street from me until he broke my heart last month and drove back to Michigan with his bags packed and my tears streaming down my face. But that's okay. Literally. I'm not going to hold it against him. He's trying to make the best for his life, just like we're over here trying to do in the region. But how are you, Adam? Of course, you're a Lions fan and one of my great friends, so had to come on to our first episode because we got to get the Lions fans' perspective.
I'm doing great, Greg. Hey, great interview with Tom, by the way. Really good first interview. But yeah, doing well, getting ready for this weekend. As you know, I'm a big, not just Lions fan, but football junkie in general. So finally excited to get into some college football tomorrow. Not the full slate, but at least a few warm-up games. And really excited for Sunday.
Absolutely. And Jake, don't feel like you can't pull up the disappointed Lions fan.
Yeah, hey, I'm trying to roll with all these.
But I need that disappointed Lions fan graphic right above my man Adam's head. So can we just put him just on the screen and get the disappointed Lions fan annually disappointed?
Sure.
Now, just put Adam.
Let's see it.
I just removed Greg mid.
Back in, Jake. Nobody can hear me. But you are the annually disappointed Lions fan, and that's why we wanted to bring you on. I know
we're the annually disappointed Bears fans, so it all works out.
Yeah, so we can form a support group. But I did want to ask you, first question out the gate. What was it like living the 0-16 season?
I think about, because I was in high school at the time, I think about halfway through that season, I was one of these gentlemen wearing this bag. I mean, you just stop caring at a certain point, and you hope whoever we get has the first pick. Wow, thanks a lot, guys.
We have a bunch of good ones for you, buddy.
But yeah, I think at some point you're just like, okay, we're going to get the first pick, and you hope to restart the next year, which we seem to be doing about every 3 to 4 years. So, we're used to that in Detroit.
Sure. So you say you've donned the bag on your head.
I was
You've
just
never
kidding.
done it?
No,
You've never done it? No, I was going to say, that's a bridge too far for me as a fan. I don't think I could ever do that. I once took a sign to a game and said, hey, Bears, try not to suck, homage to the Cubbies. Right. But I've never quite worn a garbage bag on my head to really strike one to the team.
I wouldn't go that far, but at some point you have to just give up on the season.
You got to put your foot down as a fan sometimes with an organization.
Absolutely.
So I don't blame them completely, but that'd be tough to wear the bag. Now, fast forward to 2020, week 1, NFL kickoff, Bears Lions at noon. What are your expectations now as a fan? What are some of the things as a Bears fan that we need to be, up to speed with that's kind of different from the Lions team we saw last year?
So I do think you can't get any worse defensively. Last year we were running that safe defense where we were covering everything over the top, but I just remember that Chiefs game in particular where they were just nickel and diming us down the field. We gave up so many yards throughout the season. So we did make some upgrades. I know they added Jamie Collins and Shelton up front, Desmond Trufant, and a couple other backup linebackers. So defensively, I think we should be improved, but it's just hard to say how much. The other thing that really has bothered me throughout the years, we don't seem to be buying into Matt Patricia. It seems like half the team is in, half the team is out, and you never want to see that as a fan. So I am excited about this weekend, but I hope we get off to a good start and at least show some sort of improvement from that team last year. We also were banged up throughout the season, but I certainly expect us to be better than a season ago.
Well, our guy Chubbs82 has some kind words for you in the chat. And our guy Bearman wants to know, Bearman, of course, the most famous Bears fan. What am I saying? He has a gold jacket. He's in the Hall of Fame, most famous Bears fan, and maybe the most famous NFL fan on God's green earth. He wants to know, Adam, he wants me to ask you to sing the Lions fight song like Crackman. He's friends with one of the biggest Lions fans there is, the equivalent of Bearman as a Lions fan.
I don't know the whole song. I will admit
it's very really
corny.
Goofy.
You've heard it.
It's goofy. The first time I went to a game, I was like, "What is going on here?
Who came up with the field?" I mean, that's about all I got.
There's this guy in the middle of the field, and it's so goofy. They need to change that up for sure. So
it's a bit outdated. That was when we won the championships back in the 50s. We're still using the same fight song.
Another question from the chat was from our guy Chubbs82. He wants to know, what are your thoughts with the news that Kenny Galladay, their star-studded wide receiver, who had some nice plays on the Bears last year, isn't going to be available on Sunday.
I am really worried about that. He's a Chicago kid. Has a ton of potential. Even some people are predicting him to be leading the NFL in touchdowns this year. He has a hamstring injury, and that just kind of came up this week. But I am worried about that. He's our playmaker. He's our guy in the red zone, and he's the guy who can get you first downs and move you down the field. So other guys have to step up. Marvin Jones, TJ Hawkinson, Marvin Hall, even Quintez Cephas, the rookie that we got from Wisconsin, are going to have to step up in his absence because he is by far our best offensive threat. No doubt about that.
So, Jake, do you got anything for our guy Adam here? We're obviously all competing in a fantasy league, but we're still on the Bears Lions beat right here. Do you got any thoughts?
Well, nobody got an off season really, so a lot of things that fans would have seen. We would have seen the Lions play some preseason games. We'd have seen some of those things by now. Don't have any of that. So can you shed a little light on what the word has been, what the buzz has been around Lions camp, and what maybe people could expect to see on the field come Sunday?
Yeah, like I said, the defense, I think, should be much improved. There is a lot of controversy right now about Okudah on the depth chart. We use him as a number 3 draft pick. You would think he'd be starting from day one, and right now we have him listed as our number 4 corner. So that's a little bit concerning, but I don't know if that's just Matt Patricia trying to throw people off. So Okudah being on the being our first pick, you would think should jump in right away. The other buzz, I guess, our right guard, Jonah Jackson, we took him in the 3rd round from Ohio State, is going to be the potential starter. People are really high on him, said he emerged out of camp and should be a really good anchor on the right side of that line. Other rookies should contribute. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, but the defensive end we got from Notre Dame in the 3rd round as well should be backing up.
You'd think I'd know his name, but man, I was off the cuff.
Aquara. I think it's Aquara.
Okay, he's been making some noise at camp.
A little bit.
So what do you think with it's a new defensive coordinator,
right?
There's no offseason, no preseason games, barely, you get an extended camp, I guess. But other than that, it's been limited for these guys. And in a normal season, how long it takes a defense to acclimate to a new coordinator. Is there any concerns on that level, how long it's going to take them to adjust to that scheme?
For sure, and he apparently is going to be calling plays. I believe Corey Unlin is his name, and he was with the Eagles when they won their Super Bowl, and the Broncos when they won their Super Bowl as a defensive backs coach. So this guy's been around the NFL for a while and has had a lot of success. But he is. I think him and Patricia had met in New England, and he may have even coached on one of those New England Super Bowl teams. Sure. So they're kind of getting back together, but he is apparently Patricia is giving Unlin the reins as the play caller. So, that will also be a big adjustment. But like I said, you can't get much worse than we were defensively last year. So I think any change is positive, especially with some of the guys we brought in on the secondary with Okuda and Trufant and there's a guy named Harmon that came over from New England as well. So I am more concerned about the defense than the offense. I think if the offense is healthy, I think we should be putting up some points. But the defense, I certainly think will be. It could be a challenge for them, especially early on in the season.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, it's like my biggest question for you as a Lions fan, because we see it a lot on Twitter, especially when last week the news of Mitchell Trubisky being announced the starting quarterback. I'd love to hear your perspective on, were you happy that news was dropped? Because now you know the quarterback, who it is, but would you have felt more comfortable facing Foles or Trubisky? Because even though Trubisky is this widely considered bust, it seems, and the running joke at all times, even in the son of a Mitch Bowl last night for Mahomes versus Watson, it just keeps going for Mitch. But as a Lions fan, you know that Mitch has had great success against you guys. So what was your feeling when you heard the news that Mitchell Trubisky would be starting week 1 against you guys?
Well, before we start this, you should let the people know I was one of the first backers of Mahomes. You and I had many debates in your garage that Mahomes would be better than Trubisky.
Yes.
So let's just say that first and foremost, like right after the draft.
You had to bust me out right here on the show, didn't you? Yes, we did.
To be honest, though, I think I would rather. I will be. I think Foles. I'd rather go against Foles only for the fact that Mitch's mobility has always killed the Lions. I know, was he 3-0, 4-0 against the Lions?
Yeah.
And it seems like every time his mobility has killed us. So for that reason, I think I'd rather go with Foles because he wouldn't be, he'd be new as far as the personnel he's playing with. I know he's been in Nagy's system, but
and if the line can't block, he can't get out of there.
Right. So I think, to be honest with you, I probably would have rather had Foles, but you take what you can get. You hope that, and for your guys' sake, I mean, Mitch starting off against this defense, you probably couldn't ask for a better defense to start against since he's had so much success against them the last few years. Right. But as a Lions fan, I would think the way I'm thinking of it now is like, okay, Trubisky's probably going to be, he still feels that pressure from last season. So I think that could be good or bad for him. He might come out and make a few mistakes early because he's trying to press.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, to answer your question honestly, I'd probably rather have Foles starting.
Well, you didn't get your wish, and now you're going to lose. So the next question is coming from the chat, and my guy, Bear Truth 9, also known as my representation, Adam. He checks my 9. He makes sure that I'm always staying tight, and sometimes we get off the rails, and Bear Truth 9 always keeps me honest. So he wants to know, Adam, what are your thoughts on this new coach? Matt Patricia comes in here, he's the rocket scientist with the pencil in his ear. And, you just think, hey, this guy is going to be destined to be a great head coach one day when you see him on the sidelines as a New England Patriot assistant. But as we know, New England Patriot assistants have had a tough time leaving New England and having success on their own. So what are your thoughts here with Matt Patricia here in the early stages? Do you think he's going to last, or are you already looking for his replacement?
Well, so this is definitely his make or break year. I mean, he's got to put all the chips on the table right now. When he was first hired here, everyone was fired up. He, because like you said, you saw him on the field with the Patriots celebrating with his son and the pencil in the ear, and he was very, I don't know, he just seemed like a player's coach. People seemed to like playing for him in New England. Suddenly he gets here and it seems like the opposite. He's calling out the media. He's, said some remarks about, you better sit up straight, or I don't know exactly what it was, and then obviously Darius Slay and, it seems like he lost the locker room last year. So he has to lay it all out there this year. I haven't completely given up on him because you still think about those New England teams and he comes from that type of pedigree. So I think we're at that turning point right now where, okay, did he switch the culture from a Lions losing culture, which that is our culture, to a New England championship caliber? Not that we're going to win it this year, but just to kind of flip that mindset. Or has he just completely lost it and players don't want to play for him? Sure. So, yeah, I think this is – plus our GM, Quinn, is from the New England pedigree as well.
Yeah.
So they're both, this is their, if they don't, if nothing positive comes out of this season, they will be gone. No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
So I'm not giving up on him completely, but if we get a few games into the season and we still look sloppy and you still continue to see some of those, the defense, just looking so shoddy last year, if you see that again the first few weeks, he will be guaranteed. People will be calling for his job very early on in the season. In fact, this guy I listened to on Detroit 97 won the ticket. His name's Mike Valeni, very popular guy around here. He said today on the radio, if Patricia loses this game this weekend, he should be fired Monday morning. So
wow.
I'm not in that realm to think that, but a lot of people here don't care for him, especially the media.
Should be interesting for sure. It's exciting. I think watching the game last night, it was seems like NFL is the one sport that doesn't look different on TV. These other sports like NBA kind of still looks like summer league, even though it's the playoffs and the games have been incredible. And MLB, it's impossible to not see the empty stands in the backdrop as they're throwing strikes. But with the NFL, unless they do a wide shot to the stands, they really didn't too much on ESPN and maybe or wherever it was broadcast, like NBC. Maybe that was premeditated to keep it as normal looking on TV optics wise as possible, but it really didn't look that much different other than the fact that I'm not in the stands. I know our next guest is I'm sure it kills him too, but and it's just going to be interesting. So much uncertainty, both teams trying to figure out, the Lions could have had a good year at one point, but then they were clearly a bad team and Stafford, was injured. And I think that was a big part of it. So it's going to be interesting. The Bears have had success against Matt, but there was the Lions did have a run against the Bears. So we'll see. I'm nervous. I got the Bears 24-21 personally, winning on a game-winning field goal because it's never a dull moment with the Bears or the Lions.
Field goal.
As you know, what are your not to give away my Bears pick? Me and Jake were trying to figure out when to say it, but we have other picks we're going to give away.
People don't know you're going to pick the Bears.
You just got the Bears. Find a week where I'm going to pick against the Bears. It's not going to happen. But I'd love to know your thoughts, Adam, on what you think a final score prediction would be.
Just trying to be an optimist here. I would take the Lions 20-17. Just like you said, right down to the wire.
Right.
Maybe Mitch makes a few mistakes early on, and we capitalize.
Bite your tongue, sir.
Matt Prater being solid might be an absolute weapon in this game. I've been thinking that myself, but having a guy like Cairo Santos, even if Pinheiro was playing, you're going to have to hit those kicks, especially early in the season like this when you've had such a short offseason.
Right.
You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know how efficient you're going to get. So anytime you get in range, you got to put up some points. And I feel pretty good with Matt Prater kicking the ball, but not so much.
Absolutely.
Not so much in our situation.
Santos won the kicking job, right, for you guys?
He didn't win it. He got it by default because Eddie Pinheiro is going to be on the shelf.
He's on short-term IR right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the hope is he comes back. But
Prater is as consistent as they come,
Right.
So
it would be interesting.
Do feel good about him.
It would be interesting for the Bears, and Prater has killed us in the past. He has a great leg. It would be interesting for the Bears if Santos comes out and makes all his kicks and is very consistent, and then Eddie comes back, what kind of a decision they'd have to make there if I tried to think on a positive scale.
He was making his kicks in camp. He was making his kicks, and it was
big practice on Saturday. Yep. So you need a guy that's dependable, and I wouldn't say Eddie Pinheiro exactly fit that definition last year, but it was his first year, and he had good moments and some bad. So before we completely end our Lions segment, or I think that ends the Bears Lions discussion. I would like to move on a little bit to some fantasy talk. Me and Jake had some fantasy talk we wanted to dial up into tonight, and not to go too long into it, but we are in a last second league, our fantasy football league together, and we're going to cover fantasy football on this show. So we thought it'd be a little fun to maybe check out our lineups and talk about, some of the guys that pique your interest. Now here's your lineup, Adam, and you had Deshaun Watson go on Sunday. What did he end up with? Because this isn't obviously the updated roster because you guys played, or the Texans played last night.
He ended up with 20 points, but it was ugly 20 points. He was he had about 4, into the fourth quarter. So I was getting a little nervous about him. He did have 2 garbage touchdowns late in that game. So 20, close to his projection. And then Tyreek Hill also had a touchdown to get close to his projection, but it was looking really ugly there, especially in the first half.
Yeah, that was unfortunate he pulled it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing you.
Yeah, and then Galladay, obviously, I benched today for – I think I might start Jerry Jeudy just because I know Cortland Sutton is questionable this weekend. So, my options really are Jeudy or
here's your bench.
Ruggs. Yeah.
Jake, can you pull us up on the left where we're the 3 little box on the left side? And then
no, you can't do that when it's overload.
I see.
It has to be a screen share to do that.
Okay, well then here's your bench, and then here's your starters. So you think you might pull somebody in there because obviously Galladay's out. Jerry Jeudy.
I think Jeudy just because Sutton's out too. I mean, I know it's his rookie debut, but I'm hoping he pulls off what Clyde
what was
Edwards
this garbage trade you tried to send me earlier that I immediately declined? Because I know you're always up to no good.
I was just seeing if you were on your toes. I think I sent you for Miles Sanders, Akers, and Diggs. I knew you wouldn't
I thought Akers was a defensive end for the Saints. Like, no, I don't want him. What are you talking about?
So Akers, I was reading up on him. Everyone's really high on him. I don't know. I can't remember even what round I got him in, but he was my flex originally. And then I got looking, and he's third on the Rams depth chart. So I was told he won't stay there.
Do your research.
Well, no, I was told he won't
stay there. It ain't going to stay there too long, I don't think.
Because he's a rookie. Yeah. So
yeah, Malcolm Brown and Henderson is his competition. And
I think Henderson's hurt. Yeah. So Akers I might potentially throw in at flex. But yeah, I think that was the trade I sent you. And I just wanted to see if you're on your toes.
Yeah, no, you ain't getting Miles Sanders from me. Here's my lineup if I could ever pull it up.
Well, you don't know what you're going to get from Miles Sanders either.
No, I don't, and I don't deserve to win the championship this year. I am your king, obviously. You and Jake's king as the defending champion of the last second league, our league we've been in for more than a few years now. Jake and I for a long time, and you've been in it for the last four years or so.
4 years.
Yeah, I made the biggest mistake of taking Ezekiel Elliott with my number 4 pick. And while he might be dependable, to not take the kid from LSU who showed why he should have been taken at number 4 for the Kansas City Chiefs, what a miss by me. And shame on me because he was my favorite player in college, and I don't really follow college football as hard as I do the NFL. Obviously, with everything going on too nowadays, it's hard to really keep up on Saturdays when I'm so busy on Sundays. And he stood out to me. Obviously LSU won the national championship, so you watch a few games, here and there of LSU, and man, Edwards just stood out. And for me to pass on, you always got to find the next guy. Like Alvin Kamara, the way he broke out. You always got to find that next guy. Everybody always drafts the guy that's done well for the last few years, but you got to find the next guy. And I swung and missed.
I'll take Zeke off your hands. We could work something out.
Yeah, I was going to say you're acting like Zeke is
I'm
going
not
to have
saying
a terrible year.
I want the new sauce, and I missed it. I went safe, and when you go safe, you don't win championships.
Well, you saw, he was a couple. Well, I'm sure he's taking that share of the carries now totally to himself, but they were splitting reps for a little while there. Zeke's going to get a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's available but Tariq Cohen. Here's my squad here. Here's my bench.
Tariq.
Oh, you have carry on, Greg? I didn't realize that. Ooh.
Yeah, I've got guys. I got to get the horses in the stable at running back. I've got, of course, the Bears defense, and I had to get, Tariq Cohen. He's chicken salad served cold is my team name. So got to have, in honor of Tariq, got to have Tariq in there at all times. But I didn't hit the over for Bears over under. I only set it to John, our guy who was in our fantasy draft on Monday. He tried to set the over at 2.5, and I didn't hit it. And you actually drafted Mitchell Trubisky in the last round of our draft. I don't know if it was to poke fun at us because you immediately dropped him and got Cam Newton. But what was the thought process behind drafting Mitchell Trubisky in that moment?
I was really just trying to get under your skin, send a message, and I realized you didn't even notice. I watched the
I barely knew who I was drafting. We did a live show while we did this, which was a great plan by Eric, another guy, neighbor of ours, who's in the who lives down the street. He's the only one that didn't move, and he snaked us into doing a show, which completely threw me off. So I don't even know what my team looks
You
like.
were auto drafting at one point. I remember.
Hey man, nobody knows what their team looks like. We gotta play some games.
That's true. That is true.
Here's Jake's team. We call him
Now,
the snake in our league because he loves to make shady trades. But he is a snake. But Jake, what are your thoughts with your team? Have you had anybody?
I'm a little disappointed. I was caught off guard with this live draft situation, and of course, when the live draft gets decided by Greg, by Eric, but enforced by Greg, that means I have to run it. So, and not only do I run it, but I have to share my screen as I'm trying to look at players live to everybody at the same time, which is total garbage. But
we even had a fantasy football expert.
I think I don't love my squad. I definitely would have picked up Mac as he was hanging around. I like my wide receivers. I think I should have gone Josh Jacobs over Chubb just because of Kareem Hunt's presence, and Jacobs was sitting there. But we'll see what happens.
You excited about your tight end, Noah Fant?
I think he's got potential. I think he's got, they've been talking about Noah Fant a lot and how he's been actually lining up out wide in the slot and tight end, and they're going to move him around because he's so versatile that made me think, okay, I want to get this guy. I got him pretty late, so I said, let's give it a shot. Because if they do start lining him up all over the place, especially now Cortland Sutton is out with an injury. I think he's out for the game, but I know he's injured. So. I'm hoping that they start lining them up all over the place, and I can actually, see that come to fruition, because that's pretty valuable if I could get them into a couple different spots.
Well, and a lot of people are having Drew Lock as like their breakout star this year. So, I mean, you think of the speed with Judy and Hamler, and you throw in Fant. Fant's very fast as well. And if Sutton is healthy, I mean, a lot of weapons. So Fant should be open a lot across the middle, I feel like.
I'm hoping. I'm kind of banking on that one.
There it is.
There's my guy. Look at us, Adam. Look how happy we were.
You were going to, was that a playoff game, and you were going to the Bears game that night?
Do you remember what the significance of that Bears game?
You made me run back all the way to where was it? Vikings, Bears, Vikings, right?
That's Monday night. But what was the big thing about that game?
Was it Mitch's debut?
Mitch's first ever start on Monday Night Football. And Adam and I won tickets from a Waddle and Sylvie contest, and it was just a drawing, and we were able to go to the NLDS where the Bears played the Nationals. And after the game was over, and they played luckily at like 3:30 or something. And it was an amazing game. I wish I had video of one of the game-winning hits. The house was rocking. We got to see the Cubs win, and I had tickets to the Bears game that night too. So it was a double dipper, which is like the most unique thing in Chicago sports when you're able to go to a NLDS baseball game for the Chicago Cubs and the house is rocking, and then go to Monday Night Football for Mitchell Trubisky's debut, and it was a hyped one. It was a hyped scene. The Bears ended up falling short, which was unfortunate because I almost had the double dip of the wins, but what a great night. And Adam, he had to drop me off on Lakeshore Drive, and I literally ran into the stadium, and no one thought I could see the whole Cubs game and make kickoff for the Bears, and I was able to do it because of my guy Adam.
I think we didn't leave early, did we? We stayed.
We stayed all the way to the end. We even hung out a little after. We
just sprinted back.
There was another picture of us where we were going crazy afterwards. I forgot to load it in the hopper, but what a great day that was, and I miss those kind of days. I can't wait to be able to do those kind of things.
Hey, we might get some people in the stands this year. I mean, look at what Kansas City did.
Yep.
Look at this, and that's the mean streets of Aspen Trail, Adam. Look at us.
There it is.
Look at us. There you are. Right before you break my heart, and move on for me.
Eric and Johnny, the whole squad.
Kyle over there hanging. That's the mean streets of Aspen Trail. Why don't we bring Johnny in? That's the next segment, and a nice little segue before we completely cut Adam loose. At least we can bring the mean streets of Aspen Trail together once again. And here he is, Johnny B, another good friend of mine, and also a former neighbor because he also had to move out, but he only moved down the street in the region. He didn't move all the way to Michigan like the dick in the bottom right. So thank you, Johnny, for staying close so we can still hang out. And I wanted to bring you on before we officially introduce your segment for Brags in the Stands, and we're really excited for that. But, we're the mean streets of Aspen Trail. I mean, look at us. Look at us yucking it up. Good old days.
Picture. That's legit right there. No doubt.
That's what it's all about, baby. A brotherhood. And, Johnny and I are really good friends. We went to the Bears-Chiefs game, and he had to watch. He was picking on me a little bit because he's got his boy Mahomes, of course. But
I thought I was pretty nice. I'm just.
Yeah, you were actually very. And I was actually in a weird spot that night because fantasy football talk. I was going up against someone that was playing Mitchell Trubisky in our championship that week. So I actually needed Mitch to have a down game in order for me to win $800. And he actually sealed the deal for me with his poor performance on the Sunday night stage against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, that was by far the most that the Chiefs ran the ball the whole season. And I think with the Nagy Reed, affiliation.
Sure. We didn't want to show him up.
They didn't want to run the score up. So we held that ball a long time and kept Big Mitch off the field. And Big Red won you $800, man. That's sweet.
Man, I appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to bring the the crew back before we cut Adam loose, because we don't get to see each other anymore. Mm-hmm. We were, once, real tight, and we were, always hanging out. Here was Adam and I one night, a special night for Adam and I. Did you see it, or was it too fast?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was for those of you that don't know, that's a sneak peek of Bragg seeing the Chicago Cubs win the World Series, and my good friend Adam was able to capture that moment. John, who do you think sounds more like a girl in that video? Is it Adam or is it me? Here, I'll play it back.
Yeah. To be honest with you, the first time I heard it, I thought it was somebody's wife or girlfriend in the background. So I don't know. I think it might be a toss.
We both sound like a couple of. We both sound like a couple of Muppet babies. But you know what? We were excited.
I am not here to judge anybody's happiness. I cannot judge anybody's happiness. We all celebrate our sports happiness a different way. I myself was in tears. Tears down to my knees when Damian Williams scored that last touchdown at the end to seal the deal. So I'm not.
Well, if that's a nice segue. We can.
Yeah, it's good times, man.
Greg's in control of the stream now. All right, you keep playing the same video.
It never gets over.
It's lagging on my end, and I'm trying to hit it. I should just X out of it. So
I told you, I'm in control now.
Well, okay, sweet. I appreciate that because it's hard.
You want to see the cheetah? You want to see the cheetah touchdown?
Well, you brought up the Damian Williams touchdown, and you were gracious enough to send that video over. A live shot for you in the Super Bowl. Amazing. I can only dream of living a moment like that. I'm very jealous, but I am also very happy for you, even though Adam and I didn't have the balls to lay down a bet with 9 minutes to go when they were down 3 scores, and we knew that the Chiefs were going to come back and win that game for you. So we're happy for you, but we're also very sad for our wallets, and we should have listened to our gut, even though we won some money earlier in the game when Mahomes had that run in as the first score of the game, being a rushing touchdown for Patrick Mahomes, plus 2,000. Thank you very much, Adam. Nice call on that.
Absolutely.
And before we cut you loose,
it's not much better than plus 2,000. I'll tell you that. That's pretty good.
Can't get better.
2,000, take that all day if it's realistic.
$10 turned into 200, man.
before we
Nice.
cut you loose completely, Adam, we haven't embarrassed you enough, with your Lions garbage bag on your head and your, the annually disappointed Lions fan graphic that we'll always keep for you every time we bring you on. Brags
right.
in the stands. We did want to, like I said, the Aspen, the mean streets of Aspen Trail, the former mean streets of Aspen Trail boys here. I did want to share one more epic moment of our times here and let us react to it.
2, 3.
Lazy keep going. Keep going. You got the White Rapids coming up. You got the White Rapids coming up.
Where's it at?
Sometimes you just got to leave it all out there. That was for the Lions. That jump was for the Lions.
It was a beautiful moment, one I'll cherish forever. The quarantine king, you were crowned that day. It's been a tough summer trying to get through all this, and it's great that football is back.
Absolutely.
And,
one of the funny things about that video, Greg, and I know I told Adam this, before he moved, is when I posted the race, and then that came up on Twitter, the duck race, and then that Adam doing the cannonball, which I still don't know how you didn't break your leg. Anyway, a lot of people asked how I got Eric Fisher to do a cannonball in my creek. They honestly thought that
Big fish.
Kansas City Chiefs, the tackle that protects Mahomes. So
sure. And Adam actually has a backstory with Eric Fisher, correct?
Yeah, I played against him in high school. He played for Rochester Stony Creek, and when I was a junior, he was a sophomore, tight end, because he was he was kind of a smaller guy at that point. He didn't really bulk up till he got to Central.
Sure.
But yeah, I actually played against him.
You dominated. You dominated.
I just dominated. But somehow they beat us 24-0. But
but he dominated.
Yeah. Well, Adam,
somebody dominated.
Again, Adam, really appreciate you coming on tonight. Of course, you're a Lions fan, so we wanted to hear your perspective there. But also, you're a very close friend of mine, and proud to say that, and very proud to have you on for the first official Brags in the Stands episode, and we're going to bring you on many times. Of course, Bears Lions will always bring you on and make fun of you and do what we got to do in that capacity, but you're always welcome here, and we're going to have a lot of fun ideas going forward, and you're always going to be brought into those. And again, thank you for coming on tonight. Mean Streets of Aspen Trail, always representing here, no matter where we move, because I'm moving too now. Now that you guys moved, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. So, you broke my heart, but, maybe you got me motivated to get a bigger house and maybe add a few kiddos, but don't tell Jenny that. We'll see what happens.
Hey, well, I appreciate
Luckily, she doesn't watch the show.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Wish you guys the best with this show. I'm looking forward to see where it goes. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
Hey, Adam, take a look
Yes,
at my pick for the week in your game. You might be happy with it.
Yeah,
there
let
you
me take
go.
a look.
Little teaser.
It's about to come up. Okay.
Little teaser, buddy.
You gotta watch. You got a whole segment coming up.
I've got some more fun stuff planned tonight, my man. We ain't going nowhere. All right, Adam.
Hey,
well, we'll cut you
appreciate it,
loose.
guys.
Bears, you got the Lions winning, even though you're wrong, 20-16. I got the Bears 24-21 on a game-winning kick. We'll find out who's right, but just happy football's back, and you can kick it on down the road, old Lions fan. We'll catch up with you the next time we play, and have a great weekend, and we'll talk on Sunday, I'm sure. Quit sending me crappy trades.
All right, guys, have a good one. Appreciate it.
Later, bud.
Later.
All right, my guy Adam, and now there were three.
There
were three. We got our guy Johnny B of JB Side fame. Of course, you saw some of the shot we just shared with you. This guy, Bears fans, yes, he is wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hat, but it is because this guy is literally the equivalent of what anybody knows me as a fan for the Chicago Bears. He is everything the same as a Chiefs fan. He goes to the games. You saw that shot at the Super Bowl. Yeah, you have the energy and passion, maybe even that surpasses me, which is saying a lot. This guy drives or flies to every home game when we're allowed to go to games. And he lives in Northwest Indiana, the region. and still finds a way to go to all these games, even in inclement weather and everything else. Go ahead.
I
Joe.
actually really love the games in the inclement weather because it brings a special, factor to it that you remember forever. But before we move on, I think people, they want to have credibility in your show, and you're always known for credibility, Greg. You have Waddle on, and obviously the world famous Adam Gray. But a lot of people don't know that this is my baseball team.
Oh my goodness!
I want your fans to know that I'm all just Chiefs. The reason I'm
Get this stuff off my screen.
But this is my baseball team.
Look at what this guy's doing. First,
I just want
full representation here.
Busting out the graffiti on my show. I mean, this is insanity. I'm surprised you're not waving an L flag right now. I don't want to set off the fires of Twitter again if I dare say the word L flag.
You got to remember, Greg, that I am a gambler, so I'm not going to wave an L flag because that L flag could be the very next day that I need to win. So you never go against the money. You have allegiances, yes, but you can never go against the money. So by the time this is over, I'm going to make some Bears fans maybe a little mad with my pick. The Sox fans are like, all right, he's legit. But one of my picks might be for your Cubs. We'll just have to see as we go on.
We will get right into that. And that's right. You are the gambling man, and we have some great ideas. And this is going to be your weekly segment on here. But before we get into the explanation of what you're going to bring to the table here at Brags in the Stands, I would like you to kind of, obviously you've given a little introduction, but tell the listening audience a little bit about yourself and your sports background and kind of how you've come, besides just the Chiefs aspect of it, just how you kind of came to be Johnny B.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago originally, southeast side of Chicago. I grew up in Cal City, Illinois, and eventually I moved to Indiana for some business stuff with my family. I actually played basketball with Rodney Harrison back in the day. He's a little bit older than me, but we played, and I used to guard him sometimes in practice, and definitely the best athlete that I've ever been around in my life. And then I've also, done some professional tennis. I played a little bit on the lower level circuit, and I'm just a sports fan. I played everything as a kid, didn't do video games or anything like that, and just straight up, playing fast pitch against the rubber ball against the wall, football, tackle, no pads, in the churchyard in the snow. And we did it all. We played every sport, and, I was pretty good at the sports and, got to play at a pretty high level, and that's it. And I was always a huge NFL fan, living in Chicago. I like Sweetness, obviously, but I liked Dan Marino a lot too when I was a little kid. And I just became a Chiefs fan one day. I got a chance to go. I'd never been on a plane before, and my mom took me to Arrowhead, and her friend lived there. And I got the starter jacket, man. I got to meet a couple of the players. The Chiefs were horrible then. I ate the barbecue. The people welcomed me in, and when I walked into that stadium that day, that was it. I was a Chiefs fan for life. So that's how we became a Chiefs fan.
Well, we hope you rub off that Chiefs championship luck onto this show and into our Chicago Bears, because we certainly need it. And you owe us, because we let you have Patrick Mahomes graciously, because we were obviously looking to save some money. $500 million is a lot. I don't know if we could have afforded that. So we're just trying to be money savvy here in Chicago. But you guys owe us. So hopefully you rub that championship luck off onto us. But now getting into the segment a little bit, give us your background as far as how you became such a passionate and avid gambler. Some people, gambling can be an issue but for you, it seems like you've always been kind of straight and narrow. You know what you're doing. You have a plan of attack. Why don't you give the fans and the people, because like I said, this is going to be your gambling segment, and we're going to call it Johnny B for 3, and we're going to have you're going to give away your picks just like you're going to tonight. He's going to have 3 picks every week for you, all the gambling aficionados that tune into our show. And this guy hits his picks. And when I say he hits his picks, he hits his picks. He basically, when he went to the Super Bowl, that was all paid off by picks because of his intuition when it comes to gambling. So this guy is very smart when it comes to it. And that's why you are going to be our gambling expert here on Brags in the Stands. And we really appreciate it, because Jake and I have a lot to learn when it comes to this, and it's a growing industry, especially here in Chicago. There's all these new places you can go to place bets now, and sports gambling has become legal in Illinois. So it's blowing up, and we need your help here. So Johnny B's for 3, but I want you to explain to kind of the fans, how you become so keen on the gambling scene.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but I'm Croatian by my nationality. So that pretty much means you start gambling and playing poker at a very young age. So I started playing poker at like family parties, just messing around at probably 5 years old. And there was always action on it, with the game and the poker. And then if there was a Sox game on or a Cubs game, Bears game, there was always action. So as I started playing sports and I started watching sports, I started getting into it, the matchups. I'm big into matchups and, what defense is going to get, what's offense, what pitcher is going up, is the pitcher hot, ERAs, all this stuff. So over time, I just kind of built a system and it's just all about research, to be honest with you, and getting your money in at the right time. And, if you do that and you can keep your limitations and not chase your money, you can be successful. And I know a lot of guys that actually do it for a living out in Las Vegas, a couple of friends of mine, and they do very well. And you can have a lot of fun with it too. It doesn't have to be that serious. I mean, now
it is a lot of fun for sure.
With nobody in the stands right now, you would spend a couple $100 to go to a game. So you got the app on your phone, and like you're watching the Cubs go, and you're like, hey, maybe I'll put a little wager on the game since I'm not going to be there.
Makes everything more interesting,
right? A little bit more interesting, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue before we get into your picks. And now we know kind of who you are and how we're going to make sure we trust your gambling opinion. But also we pulled the Damian Williams clip. And that's what I love about you is how much you're like me in that way. You love to capture the moment. You love to be in the moment. So I want to share a couple more of these clips before we get into your picks because they're so cool. And here's one from the AFC Championship, a legendary play in Chiefs history, and you were able to capture it perfectly.
I go middle of the field, call timeout with Kelsey. 10-yard line, 15-yard line. Roll it, roll it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Dang.
Love it. What a moment. Well, very jealous. Can't wait to have
those are my season tickets. That 7th row in section 127, shouted out. And right now, those seats don't even exist because of the pandemic. Right now, there's a Ford banner over my seats, and all of our season tickets got frozen, as you obviously saw last night. They did have fans, but you have to buy them in pods now. So the pods
what were your thoughts on that, seeing the fans in the stands? I know you're a guy that loves to go to the games, every game that you can possibly make. What are your thoughts seeing, some of your fellow Chiefs fans out there, first game of the year, which we didn't think anybody would be able to, and there's the first game, there they are. What were your thoughts seeing that?
Well, first of all, Arrowhead, when you get to near 80,000 people in there, it's an experience, and I saw somebody on the chat said that they had been there and that they had liked it, and it's definitely an experience. And, the whole thing, the barbecue and just the build up to the game, the tailgating, and to see it there with limited fans, it sucks because it sucks for all of us right now. But I was glad to see that they at least did something because we did win the Super Bowl after so long. I chose not to go just because we didn't have our season tickets and the prices were pretty high. And I decided that I was not going to go for a limited crowd. I'm not saying that I won't go later in the season, but my plan right now is to hope that we can get things in order before, the playoffs start. Maybe they allow some more people for the playoffs. And my goal is to get back to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm all in for the Super Bowl right now.
Well, we've got a question from the chat. Our good friend Bearman, the legendary Bears fan. You saw him in the tailgate last year, donning his bear, regalia that he wears. You took a picture with him, I believe. He wants to know, have you ever met Arrowman, Weird Wolf, or X Factor? He said they're friends of his.
Yeah, I've met those. I've met two of those guys. X Factor, his seats are kind of not too far from mine, but the first two guys, you pass each other all the time. I believe, we might even have some pictures with those guys over the years. It's been a long time. I've been a season ticket holder for a long time, so you see those guys all the time. And there's a lot more than just those guys too.
And you've got incredible shots. And here's the final one I want to share with the crowd. It's such a cool moment where Tyreek Hill jumps into the stands, and here it is.
Have cool signs like that, you know.
That's awesome. That's unbelievable seats there.
Unbelievable. So that's what you're all about, Johnny B. We wanted to.
Couldn't beat it.
Yeah, that's what you're all about, Johnny B. You know, like I said, the first time I ever met you, the passion just pours out of you. So, you know, we're happy to bring you aboard this, and man, we told you a little bit about this segment, and you just took that ball and ran with it like Patrick Mahomes in that AFC Championship touchdown run. You came up with your name, of what you wanted the segment to be called. You came up with what you're going to do, what you're going to say, and all this stuff. And before we knew it, we had a whole segment developed, and so we love to be able to unroll this tonight. And yeah, like we said, we're going to be calling it Johnny B for 3. And basically, I don't know. I'm going to let you explain how this is going to go. I talked to you, Johnny.
Let me set the mood a little bit. I'll put some music on for you.
Get some music. For Johnny B for 3, I'm known as Johnny B everywhere. That's just how I'm known. That's how people know me in the area. Differentiates from my father, I'm not a junior, so that's the way we did it as a kid, and it just kind of stuck. So we're going to be doing all sorts of different sports. We're going to do some football. I just want everybody to know that the football right now is a little strange just because there's no preseason, so none of us have really seen any of the teams. No fans in the stands, or limited fans in the stands, as you saw last night. So usually it takes about 3 weeks for me to really get comfortable with my football picks. So we're going to do some things and some different strategies for this week, and I'm going to have two football picks, and then we're going to have a baseball pick for tomorrow. So that's what we're going to do.
Hey, we love it, man, and we appreciate you always being prepared and locked in like you are. And I'm going to start.
I don't want to interrupt you, but if this would have been the Chiefs game, would have been Sunday, all of these listeners would have banked, because I banked like a mother last night.
There you go. Well, that's what the listeners are looking for. They want that bank.
That's what you want to hear.
You're going to keep on hitting.
Spread was -9.5. I told my boys to take the Chiefs at -12, which ended up being a plus. I told him to take Mahomes at over 2.5 touchdown passes. He got 3, so he got that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CEH, over 55 yards rushing. He had 138. He knocked that out of the water in the first.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Jones, over 0.5 sacks. So we lit it up last night. We had a lot of little prop bets going on last night.
That's awesome. What I'm talking about. You're dialed in, and of course with your Chiefs picks, but then overall in all sports, NFL and otherwise. So Johnny B for 3, and we're gonna get these picks each week. And I'm even gonna maybe start putting a few shekels and try to follow this along and learn how to gamble through this show through you. So I'm excited to hear what you got for us tonight. So why don't you fire away?
All right. Well, we're gonna go with. I'm gonna start off to make you Cubs fans a little happy. So this line just came out. This was going to be one of my picks anyway, just based off of his last performance. But I'm going with the Cubs tomorrow and Hendricks. It's -1. I'm going to take him at -1, which will probably be a plus. The odds just came out before I came on the show. If you take the Cubs money line, which is pretty much just to win the game, you're going to get him at -117. Obviously, all sports books are a little bit different, so my book might be a little different than yours. It's usually pretty close, depending on if you bet in a sports book or on the app or whatever. If you take the Cubs straight up tomorrow, though, and they win, you're going to get them at -117, which means you bet $117 to win 100. So that's my first pick of the day. Kyle Hendricks, I believe he pitched 8 innings last outing, and I think he gave up 1 earned run, and I like that matchup tomorrow. So that's my first pick, or third pick. That's number 3. I'm going to go second NFL. We're going to go to the NFL. I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles. The line has been jumping around a little bit, and like I said, it's a little bit crazy. I think they're showing right now at the main line at -6.5. I want you guys to tease that down a little bit. Take the Eagles at -4 points. $140 will win you 100. I really like the Eagles in this game a lot. Like I said, just with opening day, and everybody thinks they can win right now. Like even these teams like the Jets and the Bengals, they think they can win. So it's a little bit weird. And then with these other factors I already explained, that's kind of where I'm going. So I'm going to take the Eagles -4. I'm going to bet the 140, and I'm going to win a $100 bill. And then this last one is called a tease parlay. So you're going to take the spreads and you're going to tease them down and you're going to put them together. So you're going to have to win both of these bets to win this bet. And I'm taking Pittsburgh Steelers with that vaunted defense, and it looked really good last year. If they would have had Big Ben, I think they could have been pretty dangerous. They wouldn't have beat Mahomes, but they would have been dangerous. So Steelers at -2.5. And I'm going to take that new look Indianapolis Colts with Phillip Rivers. They're going against the Jaguars, who basically are purefiresale.com right now. I mean, I don't even know half the guys that are playing in that game. I looked them up. Some of them I've never even heard of, and I know pretty much all the players. So we're going to take them at -2.5 as well. So if both of those teams win the field goal, you're going to get them at -106. $106 wins 100. If you want to bump them up to -3, so they have to win by more than a field goal, you can get that at +118. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take them at -2.5 each. So if they do win by a field goal, you're still going to get paid. I do have a little bonus prop bet that is not listed on my thing. It had not come out till literally about an hour ago, and it's in the Colts game as well. And that's Phillip Rivers to throw over 1.5 touchdown passes. So if he throws 2 touchdown passes in that game versus the Jags, you're going to win that bet, and that's paying at -109, which $109 will pay you a $100 bill. And those are Johnny B for 3 +1 with the prop bet.
How about it?
That's what I'm talking about.
Johnny B bringing it all day long, giving us the picks. First week out the gate, he's got all this information. I mean, you're a home run, Johnny. The day I met you, man,
we're the only 1-0 team. I'm feeling the bets. I've been doing well. Football's upon us. We got to get through all these things you were talking about early in the show together as as people, as humanity. But football bring people together. Like Absolutely. You said, music as well. I go to a lot of concerts myself, and I haven't been to obviously any of those. So we've missed a lot, but now it's time to dig in and get up. And
that's right, my man.
Hard, man.
Ducks line up. Ducks line up.
Ducks line up.
Wait. Did you like that? How you like that, Johnny?
Ducks line up.
Line up.
That's my little cue. We're gonna clean it up, but that's my little cue for when we move to what we're going to try to develop with your segment. Because another thing you're known for, outside of being the biggest Chiefs fan in the world, and outside of being a gambling aficionado, and outside of your amazing athletic background, you've got a lot of layers, Johnny, a lot of layers to yourself. And one of the things you've become known for is these infamous duck races that you put on Twitter. And maybe you want to explain it. Like I said, I'm always talking on this show, so I love that you like to take the reins here, John.
You're always talking.
So why don't you explain to the audience exactly what these duck races are and how you came up with it?
Well, with quarantine and everything like that and the virus and all this stuff, and, I just won the Super Bowl. I was feeling so good, and had a lot of things going on. I was going to be at the draft in Vegas, and then all this hit. And I'm just like, man, this kind of sucks, whatever, and there's a creek next to the house where I used to live in the neighborhood with Greg. And I saw the Big Cat from Barstool Sports. He had the magnetic horse race. And that was kind of cool and everything. And I liked it, the commentary. It started off good. It was okay. And I was just driving past the creek, and I said, you know what? We just won a Super Bowl. I said, I could get a bunch of these rubber ducks. If I can find quality rubber ducks, and I can put numbers on them from all the guys on the team this year, come up with the best 10 or 12 numbers. And I could run these duck races in the creek next to my house, put them on the internet, and just have a competition. People were starving for competition. There was no sports being played. Greg, you had the the countdown going. You know, we didn't know if it would be 10 days, a week, and then it just went day after day.
Ended up being 134 days to be
I
exact.
started doing it every day, and before I knew it, it got pretty big. I had the honey badger, Tyrann Mathieu, followed him and followed me and would comment on him. I had Kay Adams from Good Morning Football. I kind of busted her chops a little bit in one of the races that she was a Chargers fan and always talking up the Chargers, and we basically own the Chargers. And the voice of the Chiefs and Chris Jones and all sorts of players started watching them, and people started watching them. I got a couple sponsors. You can see some of the stuff behind me here. This right here is an artist rendition of the Wasp play from one of my partners, and then over my other shoulder is the Tyreek Hill backflip autograph. That's from the memorabilia company that I have partnered, and we started giving away prizes every week. So it just got big. It just got big. It's on YouTube now.
That's awesome.
And then the other aspect of this that you're known for, because I hear this going on, especially when you lived here. Now you're still invading my neighborhood because it's not your neighborhood anymore because you moved without my permission, and you're coming in here screaming. Because the other thing that you're known for with these duck races is how you call the race. As you said with Barstool Big Cat, doing his horse races, you stepped up your game when it came to that. And you have developed this way of calling it exactly like a horse race almost, with all these great little innuendos and little things you say, like sayings. Where did you come up with the idea of how you were going to execute calling the race?
Well, I always been good. My memory has always been really good. We always, in my family, we do movie quotes, song lyrics, stuff like that. And I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to call it like a horse race. I want to use the nicknames, obviously, but, we do different things. Some of the races I write, I write a few lines of things that I think that I could say. Obviously, that's a little easier said than done because you never know how the ducks or which duck is going to be out in front. Sure. You got to have a quick mind. I've done an Anchorman race. I've done where I called the race in all Anchorman quotes pretty much. I did a Top Gun race. I did Winter Olympics race. I did 2 Taladucky Nights races based off Baby Nights. And then just the other day, the last episode that I actually aired was a duck dodge race, which was the finale of season 5. And I called it off of Dodgeball movie quotes, which was pretty fun.
There you go. Great movie. Epic movie.
I just had that quick mind and that quick thought process and just the funny things and, alliteration and things like that.
No, you're very clever. Man. And Jake, I'm
clever.
telling you, I'll be on my back porch. I don't even have to be on my back porch, Jake. I'll be in my house and you'll hear him because the creek's right behind my house, but he has a few different spots that he uses as his racetrack because there's some high waters. Yeah, when it rains, there's some high water spots that he goes to. But there's this one particular spot he's down the road a little bit or down the way a little bit, but you'll still hear him. I mean, he's dialed into this.
Brings the energy,
really
brings the passion. Those duck races.
No, it's incredibly creative, and he's so into it. And his wife is so supportive. She records them, and she does such a great job capturing it perfectly. And both of them are just such an amazing team, and I'm so proud to call them friends. But why don't we share the duck race along so we can show the audience exactly what we're talking about here?
This particular race, before you show it, is the race that after it, that's the one that you saw the video with Adam jumping into the creek. So this was when the virus was really, really, oh, be careful, really, right. Everyone wasn't sure. So we had everybody lined up, the neighbors socially distanced, of course, on the side of the bank. And there may have been some Monopoly money, as you'll hear in the race, going on that race.
Let's check that out.
We're at the drag strip today because we actually had some downpours, so it feels like we're going to go fast today. Ducks line up. Ducks line up. We're in the launch mode, and it's 5, 4, 3, 2. Mahomes is the chief for life. Turbocharged ducks have been waiting a long time to get it going. They say speed kills, but these ducks don't care because they want to show their stuff. It's Travis Kelce followed by the cheetah going 1-2. It's Kelce and cheetah bumping along the bank. Going 1-2, and now the honey badger gets involved. Kelce takes the lead. Now the cheetah takes the lead. And now the cheetah puts a little bit of space between him and the other ducks. And he's got the stream. And he's showing you why he's the fast one. And he's hit a little bit of a pool. And who's it going to be at the end? Oh, it's the cheetah. Just outdoes Dirty Dan. The cheetah gets it going. And guess what? He's the champion on Red Friday. It's raining ducks. I wasn't expecting any foul weather. Woo!
Well,
that's some serious commentary.
Yeah, that's not the race that I thought it was, but that was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a hell of a call.
No, yeah, Johnny, I went through. I don't even want to tell you how many races I went through to find the one I wanted to use for this show, but I wanted to find one that was a good finish. I wanted to find one where you really were nailing it with the call. So I went through and I knew you were really hitting your stride at the middle of this pandemic. So I went around that area, the June-ish area of your videos on Twitter. What's your handle again? At JBside13.
That's it.
I believe.
Oh, yeah, we got it here.
And I was skimming through it, and I found that one, and it's one of my favorite ones. And you have so many great ones. You're already into like season 5, as you said, but that's what we want to do here, because when you were doing that, I'm sitting there like, man, what a spectacular idea. Very fun. Everybody likes to get into it. And you're a gambling guy, and you're doing this gambling segment here. So why don't we have a built-in competition that fans can get involved in with our show and tune in, and we can do this same process the way you do it on Twitter with the Chiefs. We can have our own duck race for Chicago Bears ducks, and our Chicago Bears fans can get into this and start trying to pick ducks. And this should be a lot of fun. Johnny's, very creative and knows how to kind of make this work. And we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. Maybe do 2 a month or however many we can try, but at least 1 a month for sure. I want fans to, look forward to this. This is cool. You are awesome with it. And we got to find a way to get the Bears ducks integrated. We'll have to figure out, try to maybe let the fans be in charge of who the 10 ducks would be.
Well, I was talking to you, I know, on the side, and I am working on a little bit of sponsorship to get some Chicago-related prizes for that, some of my contacts that I'm using now. So that's in the works, and I do think that's going to happen. I think we should go Legends. I did do a little special edition in honor of Greg Braggs back way back, where I did the Chiefs returners versus the Bears all-time returners. So it was basically Tyreek Hill and Dante Hall versus Devin Hester and the Kansas Comet Gale Sayers. So we did have that special edition. It was 5 races, and your boy Hester won it. Tyreek, Hester were 5 races each, and then Hester took it. So it was very exciting. So we did splash a little bit Bears there for you before, Greg. And yeah, we'll do it again. We'll get you a little.
That's awesome.
10 duck legends. It's got to be Swedish. It's got to be Hester. You put the
absolutely. Hester is a duck. That's a non-negotiable clause.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the contract
it'll be a duck.
So, man, really exciting stuff, Johnny. You're going to be here weekly. So we're going to see you next week with your Johnny B's for 3. We're going to continue to try to develop this duck race segment. It may not be ready next Friday, but we are gearing towards that. The duck race you just saw, you're going to see a Bears edition very soon on this show, on this program, Braggs in the Stands. And we are so thankful for your contributions to this show, Johnny. You're a great friend and amazing talent, and we're happy to have you with us.
I know you have a hard time saying goodbye, Greg. So
I do.
Hey, it's not time to say goodbye, Greg. Don't forget, we still got picks
today. Because I wanted to see Tommy Waddle, because I remember being a kid in Chicago. Every once in a while I get lucky and get to go to a game if tickets fell on my parents' lap, but we generally didn't get to go to the games. And I have a signature where I'm going to say something, and then you can just cut me off, and that's it.
Well,
wait. We got picks to go.
No, you're 100% right, and Jake is right too. Me and you, Johnny, are getting ahead of ourselves. Even though we are always going to try to keep our shows tight to 2.5 hours tops, so Jake can get to bed. We said tonight is the official debut. There is, you're not keeping Greg down. That's for sure. So we're always going to be battling past the 2.5 hour clock to keep it under 2.5. But for most shows, we should be able to succeed in that goal. Tonight, we're not worried about that one bit, Johnny. Right. So we're not running you off.
Don't want to miss the
picks. We have another portion of this segment that is going to be something that the fans will follow along with. And I almost forgot about it. And my great producer and co-host was able to remind me just under the wire before we let you go, because we are going to do our NFL picks each week. You are the gambling aficionado, but we all are able to kind of see these games for what they are. So we're going to try to battle you in a pick'ems each week and
First
see
of
who
all,
comes out on top.
pick'ems are totally different because I might pick against what you're picking just so I can get the lead, even if I don't 100% believe it.
Oh, I did that a few times. I had the benefit of actually seeing everyone.
Well, this is
when
some
I made the
3D.
graphic.
This is some 3D chess that I need to understand
man.
here because
Let's check
I would
this out.
always assumed you pick.
I'm excited. I forgot about this.
Absolutely.
Look at this.
So,
Oh, man, that's professional.
look at that, Jake. Hard at work, Johnny. This is the kind of work you're going to see.
Serious graphic.
My guy, Jake. I try to get him to not work hard on stuff, and then he does beautiful work like this, and you just want more and more of it.
That's right. So, yeah,
well,
we broke.
Jake, you're taking the Falcons because of Gurley. You know his knees are good to go. So
Hey, you're at home. You're at home at Atlanta. I don't know if they have fans in Georgia, but it seems like one of those states where they might. But yeah, I'm taking the home team in that one. Not to mention, I did see you both took the Seahawks, so I thought that might be an opportunity.
Well, the one that's standing out to me, ladies and gentlemen, is of course your Lions pick, Johnny. Can we explain ourselves here?
I will explain it. I did pick that because I knew you guys were going to pick the Bears, but I already showed my Sox hat to let all the viewers know that I do have some credibility, even though you Cubs fans may say I don't. So I do have the Sox hat, and I do wear it all the time, and I go to a lot of games. I also picked the Cubs tomorrow with Hendricks, -1 if you want the plus, money line if you want the slight.
A little. You gave him a little extra. You gave him a little extra.
I picked the Lions based off knowing you guys would pick the Bears, and I kind of felt sorry for Adam. I wanted someone to be with Adam. He lived right across the street from me for a while, so I always like Lions.
Hey,
so it's more strategy.
Not a bad call.
It's more strategy because it's a coin flip game, and you knew we were going to go Bears. So this is interesting because I didn't realize there's so much strategy behind the pick'ems against each other in this way that you're already, kind of thinking about who we're picking too. I never really thought about that. So you're teaching me something.
Strategy, Greg. My life is a strategy. That's how
I don't have a strategy. I come through the door with no plan and guns ablaze and boom, 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 and then I just try to figure it out from there.
I'll tell you another reason why I picked the Lions is as you know, I go to a lot of games. I don't just go to the home games at Arrowhead Stadium. I went to a ton of away games last year. And I was at that Chiefs Lions game that Adam was talking about earlier. And I'll tell you what, man, in that dome, those boys came to play. And if it wasn't for them leaving Mahomes 1:40 seconds left at the end of the game, they might have squeaked that one out. So
they were hot at that. They were hot at that particular time.
Yeah, Stafford was playing great. Obviously, I wasn't sure if Galladay was going to play, so that kind of sucks. I might have, maybe I would have changed if I'd have known that.
Right.
But
yeah,
the strategy is because I knew you guys were picking the Bears.
Well, looks like we got some things in common here. We're all picking the Bills to beat the Jets. We all got the Colts here against the Jags, which I think everyone can kind of assume the Jags seem to be going ahead and tanking the season away. We all got the Vikings against the Pack, so that technically that could go in either way. But you like what the Vikings are doing. The Packers decided that they wanted to draft a quarterback that isn't looking too hot. So hey, I'll take that. We all got the Ravens against the Browns, Saints against Tampa, Cowboys, Steelers, and Titans. So we got some consensus. I almost took Tampa against the Saints. Almost did it, but I thought, they're still new together, so I'm going to wait on that one.
You guys are definitely more kind of seems on the beat here as far as what to expect with some of these teams. As far as I'm concerned, I am so locked into the Bears, and that's the only team I barely have a grip on because I feel like this is the most uncertainty I've ever had going into a season about the Bears, and I'm following and covering them now every day. So it's to me to try to make a fair assessment on any of these teams at this point is like grasping at straws. You don't. This is gonna give us at least 1 week of some kind of clear just to see the new names. Like I said, it's so much like college football, like where you're starting a season, there's no preseason, you go right into it, and you kind of learn the teams as you go along. It's gonna take a minute, not only for the teams to get acclimated to playing, clean football, but even the fans to kind of you're going to be like, oh yeah, this guy plays for this team. You're going to forget, because everything's changed and we haven't seen anything yet.
No, it's definitely, it's going to be a different dynamic. As I said earlier in the segment for for the betting as well. It's interesting. And I generally do the first 3 weeks. I definitely tease the games quite a bit just until everyone starts getting their feet wet and, making sure there's no serious injuries with players. Like, you've already had a ton of players go out, like Von Miller, like James from the Chargers. I almost said San Diego Chargers. As a Chiefs fan, we still call them the San Diego Chargers. I know they hate it. But
they probably prefer to be in San Diego at this point.
I mean, who wouldn't, to be honest with you?
Well, there's our loving bride, Elizabeth. She, Jake's wife. We definitely will not be keeping him up most nights like this. And I appreciate you, Elizabeth, as much as I appreciate Jake in this endeavor for being there for us, truly, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of commitment and. Even if it's going to slow down this week has been crazy, that I can promise you. And so I will make sure that Jake is in time for bed and dinner and everything else you're trying to plan for most nights. No, because I'm the rambler, I want to be sure.
Yeah, I know that. One thing I want to call up here before we bust is that I did take Washington here. And you guys, it's a gutsy call, but you know what? I kind of feel good about it. The Eagles are pretty banged up. The O-line is, I think 3 of their 5 starters are being replaced for this game, if I'm correct. I know they're.
Let's remember, you're picking a team that's quarterback in his first win was taking a selfie on the sidelines while the backup quarterback had to do the
that's true
of the football. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, that's fair. I'm bringing the Ron Rivera element into this too, because he's starting to right the ship. He is going through his own personal battle, and I know that the team's going to be galvanized. The Eagles are a little banged up in the receiver core. They're banged up in the running backs. They're banged up on their line. So, and I like Washington's D line. I think that they could take it to them. So. It's one of those calls.
And we're gonna follow this along, for the fans still joining us. We're going to continue to, like, each week we're gonna make sure to follow who's winning, and keep track of the score, the record. I'm gonna be
we got the record up there.
NFL Network, you just put those, yearly records, add them up every week. We're
gonna put a little crown icon on whoever is taking it. So we're gonna tally that up by the end of the season, and we'll see who's crowned.
Absolutely.
I like Johnny's chances. He's locked in. So
are you ready? Are you ready for my closing yet, Greg? Do you want me to close?
We are. Yep, we've hit the closing portion of your segment. We've locked it in. We've unrolled you. We've introduced you, and now it's your turn to end this segment as beautifully as you started it. So the floor is yours.
All right. Just remember, money won is far sweeter than money earned. I'll see you on the flip side. Johnny B out.
Oh, my goodness. How about it? Johnny B, there he is at the Super Bowl in its conclusion. The confetti on the ground. And very happy Johnny B. And he won some big money that night because he's a very confident Chiefs fan who stands by his convictions.
And that's something that we can only pray to see in our lifetime, that maybe we'll see the Bears bring it home at some point.
So we'll have to encourage him to maybe put some more Sox memorabilia, even though I hate the Sox, but to give some Chicago vibes to his background. He's got all the Chiefs regalia, and we don't want him to shy away from his true colors. This is a fan show.
That's what he's doing.
Even though this is a Chicago-centric show, he is a Chicagoan and a Sox fan, as he showed. So and he doesn't hate on the Bears. So we are excited to do the Bears duck races with him. We're excited to get his picks each week. Excited to compete against him, making picks, maybe learn a little something about the gambling world. Because like I said, it's a growing industry in Chicago. So we want to make sure we are, keeping our fans informed in that arena, not just the Bears talk and the fantasy talk and all that. We're going to try to bring you as much as we can. And that does add up the minutes on a show, unfortunately, but it is our first show, and we tried to pretty much bring everything we could possibly bring.
Hey, we still got a big announcement to make here, Greg.
We've got a huge announcement, and that's what I mean. That's why this show is going to run a little longer than they normally do on Friday nights, because we did come across an unbelievable opportunity this week where my guy Tariq Cohen decided to get us involved with him on a little contest to keep the fans involved. And that's what I love about Tariq. He, is such an energetic player, but he also, is always showing love to the fans. And I could not thank him enough for letting us be a part of this little contest idea. And on Monday, as I said last night on our little, reveal show of the 9 finalists, he has this gaming thing on Twitch where you can watch his Twitch channel and watch him play video games. And he was joking about, hey, who wants to throw down for, or not joking, you can gift him subs, and in return, you can get a signed jersey or signed cleats or anything. And I joked with him, hey, how about we give him? I'm getting there, buddy. This is the teaser. We're keeping you on the end. I got to explain to the audience.
Greg is excellent at keeping people on their toes.
You got to keep them on their toes. And so basically, what happened was I was like, hey, how about we throw down for first touchdown dance of the year? And he was like, all right, let's do it. I was taking him back. We took right at it. We took action right to it. And we developed this contest idea, and the entries and everything else was just unbelievable. The response, everybody showing support and following the show, was all the rules to do it. And now, an opportunity for one fan, very lucky fan, to come away with an opportunity of a chance of a lifetime as a fan to be able to say that he created the touchdown dance for one of the Bears' star players, their first touchdown of the 2020 season. And as we said, this could be the game-winning touchdown week 1. I mean, it may not be week 1, but we're hoping it's week 1, and we're assuming it's going to be week 1, but we don't want to count our chickens just yet. We're going to see it play out. But when it comes, the winner of this contest is going to be able to say that he is the reason Tariq's doing this dance. So it's going to be a memorable moment, a brags in the stands, classic moment right out the gates. So we're excited to reveal the winner of I am a very descriptive talker. I'm a very loud.
Hey, I got the drum roll going.
The winner.
I thought you're going to drop it.
I'm sorry. The winner of the Tariq Cohen touchdown celebration contest is Tyler Lux. At Tyler Luxy. This was a front runner from the get-go when this all started, and one of the early entries. But what stood out to me, and like I said, I had some communication with Tariq, but he wasn't divulging who his winner was going to be. And he liked that one initially. It caught his eye, and I was laughing. It was very funny. So many of the entries were so funny, and some of them were just so hard. A lot of hard work put into them.
Yeah,
Chad and his son.
All the ones
that was incredible. There were so many good ones. He did whittle it down to 2. I won't divulge who the second was because I don't want to break their heart. He did whittle it down to 2. We had a little discussion, but he always wanted to go with the one he liked the most. So I wanted him to always feel like he could pick this too. I didn't want him to force doing something he didn't want to do.
It's Tariq's choice. If it broke some people's hearts, I understand. Tariq chose it, and he's got to be able to learn the thing.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll
say.
Throw a little cookie to the 8 contestants that have their hearts broken currently. Because there was there you go. Congratulations, Tyler Luxy. Glad you can make it for the show. And yes, congratulations to you. Tariq Cohen has agreed to do your dance when he scores his first touchdown.
And you might even get some flags for it. So that,
well, let's play
cool.
Let's play his GIF again so we can really break this down, because you're right. It is a little risky. And I did mention to him when we whittled it down to 2 that we had joked that this could be flaggable. I was like, well, you could pick between this or you could have that. But whatever's clever for you. And he texted me back about an hour later. He goes, I'm going with the frog. LOL. So, he's locked in.
If you put the hands behind the back, I think it might be all right.
So again, I think he needs to make sure his head is turned facing the camera, and he's got to keep them hands back. And then, there's going to be some thrust action, but it's not let's not give him a flag because this is there's nothing seductive about this. This is a normal alien frog walking
what alien
normally.
frogs do.
He is imitating an alien frog. Nothing else. There's no. Let's not try to find the negative in it.
But he can't blink. He needs to make sure he doesn't
yes,
blink.
Got to look at the camera. No blinking. Keep your hands back, Tariq. And no blinking.
You can furrow the brow. You can furrow your brow, but no blinking.
Because everyone's going to pay attention to the thrust, but you're right. It's the head turn and locked into the camera.
It has to be right.
I'll make sure I'll make sure I text him that these key notes, and then the 5 pump. Like we talked about.
It has to be 5. It can't be 3.
5 pump
3
is risky, man. You go over 3 pump, and you're really pushing it. But
I think it's all in the speed, though, too. You can't go too fast. I think you need to take your time with it and be in rhythm, and maybe you get away with it.
Now, if he does it and he gets flagged, this is all coming back on us, and I'm blaming you for this, Jake. I didn't
pick it. He should blame himself. He knows what he's been in this league
for a while. We did discuss it. I am hedging by saying
we gave him 8 other options that would not cause a flag. He chose the most controversial option.
That's true.
So
it's on him. Last night, it's also the fastest to learn because it was a short one.
Yes, I did mention that. I said.
Now, here's what I'll throw in as a caveat to the 8 contestants that I'm sure is very disappointed, and a few of them I really was rooting for. I talked to Tariq about this, and when he whittled it down to 2, I told him, hey, worst case scenario, score 2 touchdowns and do both dances. And he kind of gave me a laughing emoji and said, all right. So I don't know if he will for sure.
So he has a second pick that he liked a lot.
Did have it whittled down to 2, and I have a feeling.
Do you know what that one was?
I do personally, but I don't want to divulge with the crowd because, like I said, there were so many great contestants, and we whittled it down to 9. And I would hate for the when it got down to 2. I know if I was the one that didn't get it, it would keep me up at night that I got down to the 2, but I didn't quite get there. So Tyler Luxey wins, and 8 all the entries were amazing. But like I said, I did kind of throw the cookie crumb to Tariq, like, hey, the second one you liked. Maybe if you score 2 on Sunday, bust that one out. And you know what? I'm not saying it will. Don't quote me on it. I'm just saying.
I hope it's one of the kids.
Keep your eye out. Keep your eye out because I did encourage. I always encourage. I don't tell Tariq to do anything. I've been so grateful for his participation and support to Braggs in the stands and, of course, what I've been doing the last few years. So I didn't want him to feel overburdened by any of this. I tried to make sure it was easy and fun and no, he's got a job to do, and that's win football games and score touchdowns. And for him to consider the fans in this way in a season where we can't go to the games yet is very appreciative. And at the end of the day, he's just got to go out there and do his job. And this is all just fun stuff. And I told him, hey, maybe down the road we can do more stuff like this. But, first and foremost, let's beat Detroit. But we did get this contest in, and Tyler is going to be the winner. And when he scores, you're going to see him do that frog dance. It's going to be an epic moment. I know my guy JJ Stankovitz working the beat for NBC Sports Chicago. I'm sure we'll be hitting the hard-hitting questions in the post game once he hits the dance. So we'll see when it happens. And as I said, keep on the lookout. You might see a second dance. You never know.
We're just going to be hoping that he's the one that scores. You got to see. I mean, you set everything up. Everyone's entered the contest. Everyone's going to want to see him do this dance. So
it's
everyone's going to be hoping it's
too, because there were just such great ones, man. I mean,
It's a tender. I can feel it when you walk. It takes fire burning. Yes, a tender. I won't know. Can you feel it too? Just
That's quite a dance. I mean, you have to pick a moment out of that, because if you're working that whole thing out, that's probably that you're flagged for that, right?
What I love most about it is the guy recording where he's like, "Whoo, and he's like giving little sound effects to each move. It really sets the tone there. That was
Chubbs had a great one. The kids where they were playing the games. Those
Chubbs
were great.
82's epic entry. What an entry!
This would have been a great one. Yeah,
this would have been a great one. Maybe a little tough to learn because there's different elements to it. You'd really have to practice that one.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many elements between hands, hips, legs.
You got to get the head bounce right too. That's the most important part.
There's a lot to that one. I mean, and then my guy Gustavo Vega.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. 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 You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
That's solid. Yep.
That one just, man, play that song. I got to find Gustavo needs to send me whatever song that is so I can play that.
Do you want Sunday that to be your intro?
I mean, we can get it. We can get it.
Key it up for you. I don't know if we'll get flagged for it, but probably yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that sounds good to me. But all amazing entries. There were so many great ones. Those were some of my favorite personally. But I'm not the one scoring the touchdown. And Tariq decided Tyler Luxey is the lucky winner. Tyler, if you're still in the chat, maybe I'll throw this offer to you. Once Tariq Cohen scores his touchdown and does the dance, and we get all the coverage and the footage of it, we'll bring you on to Brags in the Stands, and we can talk about it a little bit and your, reaction and feelings and everything else. This is a fan show, and you won. Congratulations to you. Very happy for you.
Excellent
and that's all we wanted was to get the fans involved and try to grow this show a little more. We hope you'll stick with us as a listener or a viewer and supporter of the show, but we appreciate you regardless, participating in the contest, and we're going to have more fun contests going down the road. So hopefully, when he scores the touchdown, I'll reach an invitation out to you, Tyler. And if you'd like to join Brags in the Stands and talk a little bit and chop it up with me and Jake here, we'd love to have you on. So
absolutely.
Congratulations to you, Tyler Luxey. You are the winner. Sorry for making everyone wait 2 hours and 45 minutes to have. There you go,
minutes.
Tyler. Hey, the offer is completely open. I will reach out to you on Twitter, because the touchdown is happening, whether it's the first quarter of this game, but eventually it's gonna happen.
It'll happen.
JJ Stankovitz, told me that he really thinks it's going to happen right away because he's been watching him at practice, and he said that he's been looking really good and the offense looks right, but we're going to have to wait and see as far as all those things are concerned, and we're really hoping that is the case, and I'm sure Tariq's going to find that pay dirt really soon. So again, that was a lot of fun. Sorry for making everybody wait tonight. It probably would have been much earlier, but we've had so much stuff to kind of roll out and introduce to you.
Night.
Yeah, it is what it is, brother. So, yeah, exactly. So, we're reaching the home stretch, of course, and we've had our fun and we've done our thing. We've done so many things in this show, from the pre-show flow and everything in between, and Tom Waddle coming on and giving us his thought process when it comes to all this stuff. It's truly that was. How about that interview? It was as good as it gets, and that's what we're going to be here at Brags in the Stands, is bringing on the guests that are going to keep you informed. We're going to give you the fun moments that are going to make you laugh. Sorry, Jake, I had to bust that one.
I like hearing. I mean, I like hearing it in a way. That's my anguish. I don't think I've made that noise since.
There you are.
The second when his heart rips in half. And now.
Yeah, that was one of those moments. I think I just kind of sat there and
funny how
reflected on life for a while after that.
Some videos we can talk over, and other videos we can't. That's weird.
Because ones that have sound, it cuts our mic off. So if it doesn't have sound,
the Simpsons one just had sound, and you were able to talk over that, or am I not correct there?
You can hear me talking, but I don't think the audience can hear me talking. It says up at the top.
Oh, I see. That's what it is. And now things are falling in my garage. So, that's the kind of stuff we want to bring to you. So we're really excited about it, and we always want to end our show kind of light, and that's what we're going to do. I always want to, our segment at the end, we're trying to develop what it's going to be called, but I want to call it like best shot of the night, and normally it's going to be a great video or a captured moment at a game, typically, or just something that stands out to me on the Twitter sphere. And a couple weeks ago, there was something that came across my timeline that just had me laughing so hard. And I thought I'd share this with the audience because this is a very important issue to me. I am very passionate about this particular subject, and I just want people out here to understand the seriousness of this situation. And I thought this guy kind of laid it out in plain detail. And with everything, I love a guy that is detailed and succinct and has driven motivation for change. And this guy nailed it on the head and is trying to right a wrong in this world. So I'm going to play this and share it with the audience.
I promise I won't take up too much of your time here. My name is Andrew Christensen. I live at 1212.
What did I do?
Stop clicking.
Promise I won't take up
I'm
too much of your time.
sorry.
My name is Andrew Christensen. I live at 1212 Twin Ridge Road. Lincoln has the opportunity to be a social leader in this country. We have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children are throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Excuse me. Come on. I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. These are our reasons why. Number one, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing. Number two, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number three, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash. We can take these steps and show the country that where we stand and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long. And we know it because we feel it in our bones.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, hold it down, please.
I would like to just comment here. For the record, that's my son.
He makes a good point. Greg, you got no audio.
I said I loved it. I'm so used to hitting the mic button. I really do got to stop, but I love that video. It's so funny. I love that he was like, I don't order boneless tacos. It's just what's expected. Like he nailed it at that part. It's one of my favorite videos, and I had to share it tonight because we got to end it on a fun, light note. We're get so dialed up into sports talk. We want to have a little fun at the end, and that's what we'll try to do going forward, doing little stuff like that. So, this is what it is. A video show. It's no more audio. Brag's in the stage.
Marathon
all the way through. It's no shortage of time. 3 hours. We said 2 hours. Well, we said 2.5 was probably where it was going to be. And hey, I'd buy this show for $1. That's for sure. It's been a good one, Jake, and a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, sure. Excellent.
We learned a lot, not only about our Bears, but how to do this show. Because even though we had 4 test runs, you're still going to be learning things each week.
Yeah, and I would assume that things are going to be sloppy, and that's part of our charm.
That's
right. That's part of the charm. We're not trying to be professionals here. We're having a good time.
No, we're going to kick it, and we're going to get better each week for you, but we're always going to make sure we involve you, the fan. We've had a lot of fun tonight, with the official debut, but we're always going to make sure we involve you, bring you on, hear your thoughts, share your thoughts, let you be able to ask a question to our guests. bring you on as a guest, show your video at games. It's not going to just be mine. Of course, you're going to see my video. You're going to hear my thoughts. You're going to hear the clips of ESPN 1000 arguments with my guy, Tom Waddle and Mark Silverman. You'll hear all that stuff. You'll see all the best shots once we get back to the games. We're going to cover the games. We're going to have fun. And that's what we're going to do. It's, just trying to get through 2020 together. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And hopefully with winning football and, of course, all the other sports we're going to cover. It's just going to be a football show. It's not just going to be a sports show. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, do a lot of things, and do a lot of fun stuff. I can't wait. I got so many fun ideas, and I was loading stuff into the hopper today at work, No, hey, thank you, Tyler, for your support and participation in the contest. Congratulations once again. Thank you to everybody.
Excellent.
Man, I
big
could go
thank
all
you to
day
Tom.
long.
Tom Waddle, big thank you to Adam and Johnny B. Johnny B's segment was awesome. Everyone did a
shout
great
out
job.
our guests
Yeah.
every week. Make sure that's exactly what we need to be doing. Thank you to Tommy Waddle for doubling the amount of time he said he would come on, and I'm sure he's going to choke me when I see him. But
and thank you to Mrs. Waddle for allowing that.
Yeah, because she, shout out to Mrs. Waddle, of course, because she is going through her hip surgery, and we appreciate her patience. And again, I know I don't mean to put Elizabeth on the spot, but I do mean it. When we do these podcast stuff, my wife does make a lot of sacrifice, and I know your wife is too. And
she's been quite patient. I've been doing lots of late
we
nights
have been working hard,
preparing.
and the goal is to not have to work hard each week and just have fun doing this. But I do want to always make sure we shout out our better halves for supporting us in this stuff, because it means a lot, definitely to me. And of course, Jake, I want to shout you out for all the hard work you've been putting in and standing in my corner and being my friend, my brother, and someone that I've always trusted and grown up with. You stood up at my wedding, and it's just to be able to do this together is an honor and a thrill, and I'm so proud of what we're doing, and I can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait to see what it turns into.
I can't wait for the on Sundays. We might be giving a little pregame. Definitely going to be giving postgame.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to some of that.
Jake, we need breaking news graphics at the top for this kind of news.
Why didn't you tell me?
Announcement to the live listening audience and those of you that listen later on the pod, the post-dated version is the breaking news of tonight is, yes, we are going to be going live on Sundays and giving our reaction. In the mornings, we're going to go live when we can. Maybe this Sunday morning, you might see us do a little pregame show and talk a little quick football thoughts and see what's up on last minute roster thoughts and fantasy ideas and everything in between. We might even highlight your tailgate or your man cave. That's some of the ideas that we're kind of throwing around here at Brags in the Stand. So if you have a man cave or a tailgate that you want us to spotlight, shoot me a message and maybe we'll just do that. And you'll be on Brags and Stands and we'll show off your cool memorabilia like I got behind me, because I got to tear all this stuff down tomorrow because I'm moving. So, I got to see somebody else's man cave. So we got some ideas coming down the pike. And then, yes, post-game shows. We're going to be going live after Bears games, not right after the Bears game. We're going to kind of take our time and let it simmer, let it marinate.
You can't wait too long because you got to go when it's hot.
Yeah, we're going to find a nice little sweet spot, and we're going to bring, guest hosts on is kind of the concept behind that. And we're going to always, keep other people involved. It's not just going to be Greg yelling into the screen, even though I love to yell over everybody. So I'm sure I'll be doing that anyway. So look forward to a lot of fun content, but we're just going to do as much as we can.
I wanted to use this
before
the night was over. I wanted to make sure that we busted this out.
I am the king of
made for Greg.
I am the king of extending a shout out far too long. And but yes, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Penny, thank you to my family. Thank you to your family. Thank you to the audience and all the fans and supporters, everybody, friends of mine that have reached out and sent some very warm messages. Shout out to our sponsor and my good friend Brian Potter of FanBags, www.fanbagscornhole.com. Promo code BRAGS. Make sure you get on that. His boards, and I didn't get to really explain it when we did the when we did the advertisement, but this guy's beanbags are amazing. You got to check him out. He's got professional style bags, and he's got a whole lot of different options for you. So make sure you check it out.
Yeah, really
use the
good stuff.
promo code BRAGS, and we are very proud to call Fan Bags our first official sponsor, and we appreciate, Brian, you joining us in this endeavor, and we're excited to see where this goes going forward. So shout out to him, and yeah, I'm just making sure I'm checking all my T's and crossing all my I's and making sure I'm not forgetting anybody. But yes, thank you to everyone tuned in. We really appreciate your support. And we're going to end this on a fun little note. Do you got any music, a little da 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 da, like last night? What do we do?
What do you want? You want some?
Oh, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this has been the first official debut of Brags in the Stands. Stay tuned to this channel, the YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter at GBragsJr23, and then, of course, at Brags in Stands. Make sure you're following us along. We will be back for this Friday night episode, weekly, Friday nights at 7. We're going to have fun guests. We're going to have a nice guest next week lined up, but also stay tuned for additional coverage throughout the week. You never know when you'll see us pop up on your timeline, and we're always going to have fun and keep you guys involved. So I'm
we'll definitely see you this Sunday.
That's right. So Bears 24, Lions 21. Bears win on a game-winning field goal. Jake, what is your final score for the Chicago Bears?
Man, that's a tough one. I was thinking about that. I'm going to say Bears 2017. Same situation, lower score.
The reverse Adam.
Got some rust on. So for both teams. So I'm going to say 2017 Bears.
Well, our guy Tommy Waddle's got Mitch slinging the rock for 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. So I'm going to go.
Hey, I love to see it.
Our expert football analyst that came on our show tonight. Hopefully he's the one that gets the Victory Monday prediction correct, but we're really looking forward to it. So that'll wrap things up for tonight. Make sure you tune into this channel all day long for some great sports content. Thank you to everyone once again. We'll see you soon. Go Bears. Talk to you Sunday. Always bear down. Let's go. Football is back, baby.
This is why I'm hot. 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 I'm hot.